I'm gonna come.
Oh my gosh.
Welcome, fellow castigators, to GasMaskGamers, the podcast where we play a little video games and talk about the week's news. I'm here with Jensen and Tommy and GamerMike.
Why are you gay?
Soundboard is amazing.
And
Love it.
we're playing Ye Old Pirates Online, but that's not important to the people who are just listening. So, in Nottingham, England, a group of youths wielding machetes were pacing the streets, threatening people.
What?
And the police decided that they were going to do nothing about
dead.
that. Not that there's very much they could do. I mean, they are allowed to carry guns, but they are, like, discouraged from doing so. And there are even a lot of them who aren't even carrying tasers anymore. Most of them just have pepper spray, and that's about it. It's not a lot they can do about this problem.
This is the UK.
Yes, this is in Nottingham. Where's Robin Hood when you need him, huh?
Oh, you better stop waving that machete, or I'm going to give you a very strongly worded letter. a strong verbal warning.
What the heck?
Won't tell your mom.
So the police only have pepper spray. They're recommended that.
Yeah, pretty
That's-
much.
They're pussies.
Because like in America,
20
there's like
minutes. Wait 20 minutes.
Pussycats, alright? That's what I meant.
Right.
They're soft and they're docile, okay?
Fair enough.
there's like degrees of force or something like that, and you're always supposed to have a degree higher of force than the person that you're dealing with.
Perpetrator.
Yeah, the perpetrator. In America, so like if they have a knife, you have a gun pointed at them. If they, have their fist, then you have utility like tasers and pepper spray, whatever, stuff like that. So that is kind of crazy that I mean, it makes sense because they're very neutered there, but
Yeah,
I don't know.
like there's so many problems, like just being limp wristed on criminal sentencing, being limp with their police. I mean,
And of course,
even the I mean, like the if you look in the video and the description, the BBC blurred their faces. Why?
to
Why-
hide their
why-
identity.
Why are they protecting the criminals' identities?
Bruh.
That would be mean. And unfair.
I believe that's minor protections. If they're under the age of 18 or a minor, you can't show their identities.
Never
Same
stopped
thing
them
in
when
the
they
US.
were, never stopped the UK when they were white kids.
Yeah,
Well-
that's true. Didn't hasn't stopped it before.
Equal application of the law, please.
But yeah,
Yes.
a good
That's crazy.
good example of how this can happen is a guy there, also in Nottingham, named Valdo Colocane. He stabbed 3 people for fun. And then he got into a vehicle and ran over 3 more people.
What?
Thankfully, only the 3 stabbing victims died. The ones who got run over recovered.
Oh my gosh. Why can I not to run? What's happening?
But he only got instead of putting him in a prison where he belongs, or hanging him like he deserves, they put him in a secure hospital where he is eligible to
hospital.
receive 360 pounds a month for whatever reason. So he literally murdered 3 people in cold blood, and he's literally going to he literally gets room, board, gets fed, doesn't have to deal with abuse from other inmates, and he's making thousands of pounds a year.
He's in like a psych ward kind of thing.
Yeah, it's that type of thing. Fantastic. I bet he's happy. That was the best possible outcome for that.
So he's a immigrant, a economic migrant, as they say.
Oh, I don't know.
What was his name again?
Valdo Colocane. He was a black guy, or at least that's what it looked like to me.
So you said 260 pounds a day?
No. 360 a month.
360 a month, which is $444.89 in US dollars. Or just under $5.5 grand a year.
For killing a bunch of people.
Yeah.
With
Killing people.
free room, board, and food, and free medical.
Exactly.
Fantastic.
That sounds like a
No
good deal.
taxes. I'm assuming it's untaxed.
I would assume as much. It would make sense if it did, would it?
That's
I know, and this is exactly why a group of youths swinging around machetes think that they could get away with that sort of thing because, well, they can.
A group of
They
youths.
just can. They're absolutely right.
We need to ban machetes.
Oh
I'm telling
my
you.
gosh. Well,
they're
that's
already trying
that's
to.
what
That's the
they've
problem.
tried
We
to
need
do,
to-
and it's absurd. We're gonna wrap all of our citizens in bubble wrap. We'll put padding
We're
on
gonna
everything
import all of the violent people.
instead of hanging the bastards.
You're gonna disarm the general populace who want Britain to actually be a safe society, and then we're going to import violent people that don't share the same values as British folk.
Exactly. It's brilliant. It's brilliant.
What could go wrong?
And we'll have an absolutely warped sense of justice.
Yeah, I mean, the way that like Britain's operating right now, I don't really care that the police have like they have like no balls and no
You have no
like arms. Because like an authoritarian government, you kind of want the police not to be, too powerful or whatever. Too much of a
What?
problem.
What are you talking about?
And an authoritarian. What?
I would put more budget into police is what I would do.
But
I would
they
make
enforce-
all the
they
police
enforce-
into riot cops
In
basically. I would pay
Britain.
them all off to be terrible to the citizens. And I'd be making
Britain.
a big example out of everyone.
In Britain.
Even the little stuff if I was leading an authoritarian government.
You know how many human rights they infringe upon every single day with their ludicrous laws?
Yeah.
So that's going to be the police.
You make it sound like they care about their ludicrous infringements.
They enforce it all the time. You say something bad on Twitter, you're going to get penalized or put in jail.
No, I'm saying you make it sound like they care that their infringements are ludicrous. They don't.
I'm just saying if they're very well armed, it's only going to be a detriment in that regard. You know what I mean?
No. I'm confused.
Okay.
But that's all right. So, more from them, more from the pond. This is in London. An illegal Afghan and known sex offender, Abdul Azedi, throws acid on a mother and her baby at a train station. Yet again, for fun. Wasn't anybody in particular, just throwing acid on people. And a manhunt begins, and they have apparently still not found him, which is crazy. Most surveyed city, or most surveilled city in the UK, and they can't find him. It's been almost a week. They can't find this guy, and they're putting his, picture on the news and stuff from the footage. Like, we can't find him. Like,
I
what?
mean, even if they find him, they're not going to do anything.
And one thing that the BBC is suggesting is that maybe he doesn't know that a manhunt is happening because he can't speak English.
What?
And so they're assuming that he's just blissfully ignorant, and he could literally just be going about his day, thinking he got away with it.
Well, actually, there's evidence
Which
to
is
support that.
so weird.
He was seen at a pub the same day, with some acid burns on him.
What in the world?
He is blissfully ignorant. He literally is going about his day.
Oh my
I
gosh.
think he really cares.
Yeah, or he just
He's
doesn't
just like,
care. I
whatever.
don't know. Maybe
He's
he
like,
wants to be
no.
Yeah,
found.
somebody's like, yeah, I
and
saw him
get a fancy
in this
sentence
pub, and he had
sentencing.
some acid burns on him. So it was like, same guy. So I guess he must have
Hilarious.
gotten some on himself.
I mean, where the alligators at?
But
He's just at the pub ordering a pint.
But what everyone else is suspicious is that they don't want to
This is
deal
a
with
graveyard.
this guy, and they don't want to find this illegal. So like, why we can't
course
find
not.
him? Don't worry about it. Can't find him.
Don't worry about it. I mean, he'd be let off the hook anyway. Doesn't even matter.
Right. But more time and money for them. The police commander, John Savell, he went on TV a few days ago, and he tries to speak to implore with the perpetrator, saying, "Do the right thing. Turn yourself in."
We know you did the worst thing imaginable, which is throwing acid on a child and their mother. But
you broke laws by sneaking into the country because you've done something in your own country, and you don't want us to know about it. And then
wham.
you've become a sex offender immediately upon coming here,
Yeah.
and then you throw acid on a baby. But I'm sure he can see reason.
Yeah. He's
And
just
he'll be like,
misunderstood.
Right, just misunderstood. Not an evil son of a bitch. No,
No,
that would
no,
be
no.
that would be ridiculous. An absurd suggestion.
Oh, they're there.
So they probably won't
Well-
find him, but like you said, it doesn't really matter because
They do not enforce laws.
they don't. They're not going to enforce the law. He'll get off easy anyway, or he'll get a really cushy sentencing. He'll get
Yeah.
paid to stay in a hospital for a while.
Yeah, I want the local police force to uphold individuals' rights and prosecute those who infringe on those
My
individuals'
God,
rights.
that's racist.
Oh my goodness, you just don't like diversity.
You don't like diversity, equity,
Yep,
inclusion.
I know. Outdated ideas,
You're
I
such a
know. I'm not
bigot.
progressive enough. You give special privileges because they're just not the same as us. They're not the same as us white people. It's crazy.
What?
That's what they do, bro.
Yeah, they're special.
It's
They're
racism,
special.
but it's yeah.
If you don't want preferential treatment for minorities, you're a racist. How dare you?
Positive racism.
Positive racism. Oh man.
I don't know what I missed. I like zoned out for half a second. He had Micah, that's racist.
But yeah, it's hard to like I appreciate the people who are still in England and who are trying to fight for it and all that, but
Oh,
you know,
Lord.
it's noble,
Oh, I'm trapped. Oh.
but at the same time, it's like hard to envision a future where they can go back to some kind of normality
Yeah.
because the level they're at is just insane.
Oh, maybe the
And their
Brits
prime minister is an
invade
absolute
the Middle
dictator.
East, and they take over the Middle East, and they just swap territories.
They did that.
But
It didn't work very well. That's actually part of the reason why the Middle East is so messed up.
No, but they abandoned their land and give it over to, the Muslims and stuff, right? And you don't even want that land anyway. It's all like rainy and gloomy and stuff all the time. It's kind of small too.
Better than the sandbox.
Yeah, so it's a possibility.
Well,
I'm down.
something
Somebody
like
help
that
me.
will happen, but it will not be a trade.
Yeah, probably just an enslavement.
I think they'll
Those Muslims, I love them enslaved people.
yeah, no, they've already got all of their Muslim leaders in order who are not working in Britain's self-interest, so they're well on their
It's
way.
also hilarious at the same time because being Muslim, it's a sin to be gay. So they're shooting down a lot of their pride stuff, which is hilarious.
Yeah, it's funny, constantly advocating for
name
people who hate,
of
who absolutely
diversity.
hate them and everything they stand for. Hilarious.
Yeah, in the name of diversity, you're getting all these Muslim leaders, and now they're getting rid of all your gay policy stuff. It's just hilarious. Like you guys you played yourselves. You stabbed yourselves in the back.
We must we
idiots.
must include all of the minorities.
All the minorities who actually don't like all this gay shit.
Yeah, and then take over and be like, yeah, we're gonna crack down on this.
You've got a gator chasing you. Oh
Gay
no, he
stuff.
disengaged. Never mind.
Yeah.
So, Gina Carano is
I got some.
suing Disney. Well, I already started this one, so you're just gonna have to wait.
Gina Carano. Is
Gina
that the lady from
Carano.
Star Wars?
I will go over the situation real quick, just for those of you who don't know. Gina Carano was in The Mandalorian, playing Cara Dune, and she had this whole pronouns thing where people were trying to bully her into putting pronouns on Twitter, and she wrote beep, bop, boop, and they were kind of mad, but there was nothing they could do about that.
She identified as a robot.
And so then on Holocaust Day, she retweeted something from someone else about how you should be careful about oppressing people because of their religion or
That is
beliefs
what
and
the
everything,
Nazis
because
did.
it's a slippery slope, which is not an incorrect thing to say, and it wasn't even her who said it. And Pedro Pascal, the lead in The Mandalorian, shared really similar things with the significantly more outrageous claims attached. But he was on the right side of the political aisle, so, who cares? Pedro could stay.
Can't have that.
And you can't fire The Mandalorian anyway. Um,
Well, I mean, they technically phased him out.
well,
They're like, you cannot have a male lead.
he's still standing around in the background of his own show. He's still there.
He's
not,
been
not
demoted.
doing anything, but he's there.
Yeah.
And basically, they fired her and released a statement saying that she was fired because she was discriminating against someone's race or religious beliefs, which was rich coming from them, because we know exactly why they did it. And of course, she has every right to sue them because that's illegal.
Yeah.
You can't fire someone for that. You can't do it. You can't fire someone for posting on Twitter on Holocaust Remembrance Day. You just it's wrong on a number of levels. And Elon Musk is backing it because he of course promised to pay the legal fees of anyone who had been fired for something they said on Twitter, and he is making good on it.
Oh, interesting.
So yeah, that gives it an even more interesting edge.
Yeah.
So that should be really interesting. I hope they get made an example of, and it sets an example for many companies, because there's all kinds of companies trying to do that stuff, especially in Hollywood. They kind of know how elite and untouchable they are, and there's I mean, Elon has a lot of legal fees to pay for a lot of people.
Dude, Elon is like got infinite money.
I know. And he's such a
Crazy.
Chad. It's hilarious. It's fun to see.
He's like Tony Stark.
Right. He actually is a lot like Tony Stark when you think about it. So along with that, the same day the Disney DEI rules were leaked. And part of it explicitly states that you're not allowed to share that or talk about it with anyone, so it hasn't. And you sign a long NDA, so it hasn't. We haven't heard much about the precise list of policies, because everybody's a wuss. But it did get leaked to Elon Musk, and it's in the link below. But I will read it to you. Hold on a second. I gotta pull it up on my phone.
We need more black people and Indian people and not Asian people, because they're just white people.
So there are 4 standards. That's what they call it. Standards. Inclusion standards.
Inclusion standards.
And, okay, so here is standard A. On-screen representation. You must have characters, 50% or more of regular and reoccurring written characters come from underrepresented groups. 50%. That's pretty steep. 50% or more of regular and reoccurring actors come from underrepresented groups, which I think is interesting, because who defines what an underrepresented group is? And how much can you represent a group to the point where they are now properly represented? Like,
And then
like if anything, white straight people are now underrepresented.
Exactly. I need more representation as a white man.
Series premise: meaningful integration of underrepresented groups in overall themes and narratives. So you can't just write a story about someone doing something. It has to be related. episodic storytelling, ongoing meaningful integration of underrepresented groups and episodic themes and narratives. So you can't just do one cop-out episode. It's got to be in all of it. It's got to infect every little second.
Gotta be a long episodic thing.
Right.
going on.
And so now standard B,
That line.
creative leadership. 50% or more of producer and above on writing staff and 50% or more of co-producer and below on writing staff come from underrepresented groups. Yet again, really steep.
Gosh.
Like, you know, I've seen DEI policies before, and it's usually not 50%.
It's such an arbitrary thing.
Yeah, and I mean, it explains like just how scuffed every production is.
Yeah.
Because you've just got this, like, you know, the state of California or whatever state you're working in, to get this amount of people, you're inevitably, you know, statistically speaking, since they are minorities, you're going to have to hire a lot of people who are underqualified.
It's no longer
So-
merit-based,
Right.
50%
50%.
hiring process.
50% or more of episodic directors come from underrepresented groups, casting directors from an underrepresented group, or has not previously worked on a Disney show in this role. That one's crazy to me. The casting director has to have bias. We have to make sure the casting director has bias. We can't because we don't want to make sure that they follow the DEI rules. We're too lazy for that. We've got to make sure that they're biased. Meaningful representation of underrepresented groups in senior creative leadership. Promotion of a member of an underrepresented group into a role that constitutes career progression for at least one member of the writing staff. So you can't
It's like
just
so
hire them.
convoluted.
You absolutely have to promote at least one of them. This
This is
sounds
so
like it was written
convoluted,
by
too.
someone who like can't get a promotion for anything.
Yeah.
I'm black,
like,
so you
I
have to give
know.
me a promotion.
I knew what it was like
It's
back in Hollywood.
so nuts. So if you're a minority and you get on the Disney writing staff, you could just be an absolute screw up and work your way to the top slowly, just because they have to meet that quota. And then substantial year-over-year increase in members of underrepresented groups as directors and in writing staff. Which is crazy, because that means that they started off with the rule that it has to be 50%. But if you've got an ongoing TV show, that's gotta climb as you go on, year by year.
Oh my.
Just crazy. Which is funny, because none of their series ever get past one season anyway. Which is ironic. They thought they did themselves a favor with that one. And they can't even meet it. It's amazing. Okay, and then we have the third one, standard C, below the line. I'm not sure what this means. 15% or more of line producer and or production department heads, composer, costume designer, editor, production designer, music supervisor come from underrepresented groups. 50% or more of other key roles, any mid-level crew and technical positions come from underrepresented groups. 50% or more of the overall crew projection or project staff come from underrepresented groups. Promotion of member of underrepresented groups into a role that constitutes career progression for at least one crew/team member. Hiring a line producer and or production department head who has not been previously employed in that role on a Disney show. I absolutely hate how compartmentalized it is. You can't just count everyone who's working on a production as one big team and say, okay, 50% of that. No, it's got to be 50% of every little job.
Every little
And most of the time when
ring on a ladder.
you know, when your crew's not like over bloated, then you're going to only have like one producer, one line producer, one head of costuming.
half of that man has to be cut.
Exactly. What are you gonna do?
Needs to be cut in
50% of the director has to be a minority.
He has to be half black.
And so you're basically guaranteeing that every single person who is either leading a small team or who is the whole team is going to be a minority. Which means that that like every production is way more than 50% minority. Way more. Like
Technically, unless the law calls for it, that's still discrimination by according to the EEOC, and is, a lawsuit. It's
yeah.
discriminatory hiring
Absolutely. That
practices.
was what I was going to say at the end of this. This does not feel legal at all. Like, I know that California has has new legislation that is incentives for Hollywood productions that use DEI. But still, this does not feel right at all. I don't know the exact legality of it, but this.
Yeah.
It's not legal. Like, not even close.
Yeah, it sounds
Well-
inestimably scummy.
I mean, me personally, I think that you should be allowed, if you have a private business, to discriminate under any circumstance, but that's also if everybody is playing by the same rules, like it's not crony capitalism type stuff, it's like open competition, and you can be
Oh,
kind of
in a perfect free market.
yeah, like where everything is, I guess, like a tug of war type of thing, where you get some business, and if your business is not doing well for some reason, then
Yeah.
other businesses will pop up. But like these massive corporations that encompass the almost entire like media or entire whatever field they are, they're not even competing or anything. They're just what are they called? Tricopolies, something like that.
Oligopolies or monopolies?
They're like multi-organization monopolies.
Oligopolies.
Oligopolies.
Oligarchical?
No,
Oligarchical?
oligopolies are multiple businesses combined together, basically form an impromptu monopoly.
Yeah.
Oligarchies are multiple leaders running. It's basically what the Spartans had. They had two kings, so that's an oligarchy instead of a monarchy.
Exactly.
And yeah, you're talking about a perfect free market, and a perfect free market would be absolutely beautiful. But that's like finding perfect communism.
It's
It
beautiful.
doesn't exist because people suck.
Yeah, but I'm saying if in normal markets, in normal businesses, you're gonna have competition, and so
You have competition, but it's not enough to where you can allow people to start discriminatorily hiring.
Yeah.
Because it's still not perfect.
like because I understand certain businesses, right? Your inherent characteristics can affect certain employment. And I mean that's reasonable, but at the same
Yeah.
time, if you have a monopoly, whatever it's called,
Oligopoly.
oligopoly, then I feel like that kind of goes out the window. You're kind of like
You're
there's
harder
no one
to
to
touch.
push you out. Yeah. So in that instance, I would say most definitely that can't be allowed.
Yep.
But
Well,
I
yeah.
feel like they should be broken up personally. But
Oh yeah, they break. I mean, technically, all of the members of the oligopolies that exist are monopolies in and of themselves because of how much power they have. But they're not being broken up through the crap. I forgot the name of the act off the top of my head. But the one that breaks monopolies and stuff like that ordains this, because they're in the pockets of politicians that would break them up.
it's gotten a little out of hand.
I need to Google this real fast.
So yeah, I would say generally speaking, I really don't care. You can discriminate however you want when you're hiring somebody, because like obviously, but in this case, no, you should be sued. And also, it depends on the contracts that you sign.
It's the Sherman Antitrust Act of 1890.
What type of discrimination are you talking about, Mike? I'm not following
discrimination.
what you're advocating for.
So, like, you discern different things from a person when you hire them, right? You discern IQ levels.
Whoa.
You discern
I mean,
their
yeah,
temperament.
You can't
you
really
discern-
All right. So, for hiring practices, as someone who had to go through business law and all of this stuff before, for hiring practices, there's multiple types of discrimination. You've got based off of sex or gender, based off of age, and then based off of race. Right? You can't discriminate if someone's over 40. You can't discriminate based off their gender, and you can't discriminate based off of their or based off their age in general, or based off their race. All right. So a lot of companies have started actually practicing to not look at that information, right? So the information is more broad. It's literally all of your accomplishments in the previous jobs. There are exceptions to that rule. You also have disability discrimination, right? You can't discriminate against someone just because they have a disability, unless the disability directly interferes with their ability to complete the job. So if someone can't walk, they can't work in a warehouse where they have to lift boxes all day, right?
That would still be discrimination, but yeah.
Well, that's not really discrimination at that point. They're literally not able to commit the job. Discrimination is saying, well, I'm looking for a financial analyst, but I don't want a financial analyst that's black because they're bad with money. So I'm looking for someone that's Asian because they're better with numbers, right?
Right.
That's a discriminatory hiring practice and not legal. You have to hire the person who's best fit for the job.
So you can discriminate, Mikey. You just can't tell anybody. You can't make it a company-wide memo.
Yeah, you have to discriminate under other. You say it's under other things.
Because, I mean, in the hiring process, it's up to you, but, you know.
Yeah, I don't see any problem with it if you have an free market that's got competition. I think you should be able to discriminate however you want. Like that just makes sense.
Yeah, like I said, in a free perfect market that makes sense, but a free perfect market does not exist.
No, a general market.
Don't tell me how to discriminate and be an asshole. All right, I know how to do that best.
I think you're splitting hairs here. I'm telling you that you can discriminate when you hire someone, Mike. Everyone has that right. That's like that's like part of it. Like Disney is doing.
I'm not arguing for Disney, but
okay. Well, I don't know what you're arguing for, because
I'm saying my opinion on discriminating.
Already do.
My opinion on discriminating via employment is that you can do it however you want.
Well, via employment, no, you should be discriminating on the basis of meritocracy, nothing else.
Yeah.
Well, how do you know that they can do the job unless they've done the job or something like that? You know
Resume.
What I mean? Like you have prior assumptions.
Resume, interview.
Yeah.
That's the best.
Resume, interview, and previous employment. If this is your first job at an entry-level job.
I mean, that kind of falls under resume, but you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like resume. Like
yeah,
resume and education.
You shouldn't be discriminating however the hell you want when it comes to employment. That's wrong. It should be meritocracy purely.
I mean,
well, that's what's confusing me.
Yes and no.
Because Micah's like, I assume he's not advocating for discriminating against someone because of their sex or race. So I don't know what he's worried about.
Oh, I don't care. Yeah, you can discriminate on sex and race.
It is legal to discriminate in almost any other way.
Yeah, if it's not breaking one of the EEOC hiring practices, then yeah, it's legal.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. I think Mike is advocating for something that already exists.
Well, he just said it's okay to discriminate based off of race and gender.
I thought he
I don't really care.
What, Micah? I thought you said you didn't. I misheard. What is wrong
No.
with you? What is wrong
Yeah,
with you,
you
Micah?
shouldn't.
What in the world?
My opinion is you can take in all considerations, including inherent characteristics.
Dear God.
But
Anyway,
that's only
so
in
let's go on
a competitive
number
market.
4. We didn't finish number 4, standard D, industry access and career development. You must have paid employment opportunities such as apprenticeships, internships, expert advisors to facilitate union eligibility for members of underrepresented groups. Training opportunities, skill development, blah, 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 for underrepresented groups. First job for members of underrepresented group in a role that constitutes career progression from prior training. 50% or more of outside vendors or contractors employed by production provide industry access or opportunities to members of underrepresented groups. Producer or department head participated in Disney Talent Development Initiative, Guild, or other approved mentorship program. Producer develops / executes a show-specific D&I program subject to network approval. So, I mean, that's...
Okay.
That's sort of like the big thing about this is we know how much of a hold Disney has on the market and the kind of the amount of companies they own and the kind of people that own stocks in them, is that Disney can say your production has and any outside vendors, anyone else who you're outsourcing work to, any contractors have to abide by this as well. Which is pretty limiting, which means you're going to find a bunch of Hollywood productions in studios doing the same thing. And
entertainment
keeping this
sucks
crap
now.
going. Which is terrible. It's a terrible influence. I mean, thankfully Disney is slowly losing their cred, but still, up in their little bubble, up there in Hollywood, they're doing great, and everybody still wants to work with them and be in a Disney movie and all this stuff.
I think it's gonna implode eventually. I don't know when, but I just have a feeling.
Eventually,
I mean, yeah. I mean,
they are losing a market hold, market share.
yeah. Thankfully, right now, they're. I mean, not thankfully. What am I saying? Right now, they're doing okay because, they're in with the banks and they could just keep taking out loans like they have been for like 20 years, and they keep doing that, so they're fine as is. But there's this one guy, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he's long term. He's a long time shareholder of the Disney company. He's one of the guys who was doing the Bring Back the Magic campaign. But he is buying up Disney shares like crazy, so he could basically take control of the company. And he was at this event that was like, I don't know what you call it, but it was like a gathering of companies for business purposes. And Elon Musk was there, and he was like, I'm here to see. He told one reporter, he's like, I'm here to see who I can buy up. And the guy was seen with Elon, and they were pretty chummy. So everyone's like, Elon's gonna buy Disney.
Oh my gosh.
I'm not sure if that would
gosh.
happen. It would be hilarious. But I don't know. I couldn't tell you about that.
Bro, I don't think Musk has
likelihood
that
of
much
doing
money.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does.
I don't know. I couldn't figure out how much money he had, and it was like,
Because, I mean, if that guy buys up enough power and enough shares, and he's in with Elon, they could stage a whole coup of the company. With the help of others, obviously. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like they could do it.
of Disney.
It's reasonable. They could do it.
It's reasonable. Totally.
You're saying Elon could coup Disney
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
with
That's what
what
they
was it,
think is
Nelson
going to
Pelt,
happen.
right?
What?
With Nelson Pelt.
That's the guy's name. Thank you, Nelson Pelt. That's right.
I think Disney should just retire.
Dude, he
Dude, they are a
Okay,
huge conglomerate. That would
yeah,
be, that
that's
would be
impossible.
insane and
Well,
incredibly
I'm just
stupid.
saying.
It's
I'm just
They're
saying,
not-
like,
not how
you know.
business works.
it's
Micah.
not dude, they
I'm not
Disney
saying
should
it's gonna
retire.
happen.
as badly as they're doing compared to other companies, they are still absurdly lucrative. There's still time to turn the ship around.
But I
There's-
don't want there to be a huge conglomerate controlling a large.
Look, they've blowed so much money that they are selling things off, so they're not going to be.
Yeah, they
that
actually
big.
are starting to sell things off.
They're,
Thankfully.
Well, I hope
they're probably gonna sell off
Um,
Fox. They are selling off ESPN, and I think they're also about to end Disney Plus and just have Hulu.
Finally.
Wait, they
So
had Hulu?
Yeah, they own Hulu.
They co-own Hulu with someone.
Yeah, they've had Hulu this whole
That is
time.
so weird.
So
But they have Disney Plus.
Disney Plus
I'm
is
so
so
confused.
unprofitable. They're probably just gonna get rid of it and keep Hulu.
Yeah, streaming is
don't-
kind of entering
That's a leak,
weird
so who
phase in
knows how
general,
true
really.
that is.
Don't.
But
don't-
Nelson Pelt actually could coup Disney because he put himself up. He put himself up for a nomination to be by the board in the next meeting or something. I'm forgetting the word. It's like a board meeting where they
Nominated?
decide if they want to keep Bob Iger or have somebody else.
Oh,
And
one of those.
he
ones,
nominated
Throw him out!
himself. He nominated himself on the basis that he has a shit ton of money invested in the company, and Bob Iger actually doesn't. He has about
Oh.
3 million in shares. That's insanely small. And his people that Bob Iger appointed also don't.
Yeah, Bob
So Nelson's like,
Iger
Bob
is a
Iger-
power-hungry maniac.
Bob Iger,
Like,
he's basically
He's
saying,
gotten bleeding rich off the company already, and it doesn't affect him that much if it does badly, so he doesn't even care.
Yeah, he has no loss. So but basically, he's telling the shareholders that if you do a vote of no confidence on Bob Iger, I will take charge of the company because I have something to lose. And so I have drive to make it profitable. Bob doesn't. He has nothing to lose, and he's making money off of you and making you lose money.
That's a fair argument.
So that's his argument. And so we'll see in next shareholders meeting if they vote him out.
Technically,
Because Bob
you could.
Bob Iger's board is appointed by Bob Iger, and so they'll
Yeah.
just do his bidding.
I hope it works.
They
'cause
could get
the last
sued
time they tried
and
to do the vote of no
not running the
confidence, it didn't
business
work.
in favor of the shareholders.
Shareholders have
There's-
actually sued Bob Iger because he was cooking the books. He was
There we
actually
go.
lying to the
Oh yeah, Disney
shareholders about
has
how
been
profitable
failing
it's
to
been.
report numbers properly.
Oh,
pretty
that's
consistently.
another lawsuit right there.
Pretty
Yeah,
consistently.
I'm sorry, that's what I meant. I meant lawsuit. One of the shareholders filed a lawsuit against him because he was cooking the books on Disney Plus, and he won that. And we got the actual numbers out for Disney Plus, and yes, Disney Plus has not turned a profit.
What in the?
What? You're telling me these individual streaming services that have crappy shows aren't
Yes.
doing well?
Aren't doing well. Yes.
Oh my
Netflix
God!
is-
It's almost like we
Netflix
called
is
it.
the only one to make a profit. Not even Amazon's has.
Isn't Netflix like going downhill
Well-
too?
They are,
Yeah.
but they're the only ones who have actually turned a profit.
And
It actually was within the last 3 years they actually did, and they've been around a long time.
Actually,
So
there is
it
no
took
streaming
a
service
while.
that is doing.
it takes
well.
a long time for streaming services to make money.
Yeah, it does. But you
but,
have to see where it's going.
Yep.
Clearly, Disney Plus isn't going anywhere.
No. What was that question? For Amazon, even if you have Amazon Prime paying for Amazon Video, you still get ads. You have to pay extra per month to get rid of the ads.
Yep, that's new actually.
Yep.
Yep,
They employed
because
that.
they're trying to catch up on
last
money
month.
that they're losing.
Is there
Yeah.
any entertainment platform that like has good profits? Like
YouTube.
YouTube does not. No.
YouTube has great profits.
YouTube
No,
has
it's
great
being
profit.
held up by the rest of Google, right?
No.
No, YouTube
I've
is
al-
insanely profitable.
No, I've always
YouTube
heard that
is-
YouTube is
No,
barely scraping by and it's being held
No.
up.
But as far as
YouTube is their single most profitable thing.
No.
Yeah.
No
Yeah,
way.
it is.
But as far as streaming services go, the answer is no. None of them are really turning a profit. When the economy was good, before, like right before the pandemic, when they were the hot new thing, everybody was getting them, and now
I think,
they can't like no one can afford all of them anymore.
Right.
And now they're not interested in. They're not really interested in them at all, and most people are either paying for none, paying for a few, or keeping on all of them but doing the ads version. Sorry, I got distracted trying to figure out where you were. So it's terribly ironic because it's only the old people that win.
Mhm.
So a long time ago, if you all remember, we had this funny little thing called cable. And for years, everybody was trying to get the companies to stop doing channel packaging, where you would have these
So-
channels that you paid for, and you were forced to pay for all these other channels you didn't want because they were just part of the bundle. And now streaming services have looped back around to that. You have to pay for all of them with ads, but now we finally get to choose. So it
best
sucks for all the
one.
people who are envisioning a world where they could afford streaming services without ads and pay for all of them. But so they lose the Gen Zers and such. They lose, but the old people win.
So,
Because we went back to being, because we finally get to be selective about our cable television.
mhm.
Yeah.
It is
So some stuff
it's a
about
stupid win.
YouTube.
I know it's stupid.
It is. So, Micah, in 2023, YouTube's advertising revenue, just ad revenue, accounted for approximately 10.25% of Google's total revenue, which is a ton of money there. And they brought in 29.24 billion US dollars.
How much
In
is
2023.
upkeep?
Not almost $30 billion. Not even close. The
Now, there
only
is-
the only site that I'm seeing that is saying YouTube isn't making a profit is Quora,
Mhm.
which is about as reliable as Wikipedia was when it first came out.
I think I know
like
what Mike
Facebook.
might be misconstruing.
Yeah.
Um, Google, not YouTube, but Google as a company. You've seen all the TikToks of day in the life of a Google worker, where it looks like basically a daycare, right? An adult daycare. They're doing all this
Yeah.
luxury stuff. Well, that's been
Yeah.
eating into Google's profits, and they've been, to compensate for that, they've been firing YouTube representatives and managers.
I have seen
So,
that.
like,
That's just
channels don't have their own representative or manager to help them with customer support stuff, and it's all automated now. That may be what you're misconstruing, is that Google is just taking away from YouTube to cover their ass.
Well, that's just justice being served in that regard. But no, from all I've understood, from every single thing I've heard from what Google makes from YouTube versus the upkeep that they have to put into YouTube, I heard that they were not they were breaking even or maybe getting a little bit of profit out of it, but
No, they're doing
never
good.
super profitable like at all, because hosting videos and streaming videos cost tons and tons of money. But they also do have a lot of governmental help with that,
But
like their servers and stuff.
so
So they
remember
could be
that number I said?
Uh,
Remember that number I said that how much revenue they brought in just from ads alone?
no, was it 100 billion?
$29.24 billion, so just under $30 billion.
Yeah.
Google spends an approximate $5 billion a year to maintain YouTube.
Really? Without
That is
government subsidies.
with I don't know if there's any subsidies in here. This is just according to Statista and all sorts of other more reliable data sources than Quora and Reddit. Yeah.
Well, could be wrong. But they do get help out from the government a lot, so I don't know.
I mean, getting subsidies is just managing a business. Like everything uses subsidies or grants. That's just the way the world works.
So, Nikki Haley loses
Wait, I had actually been in news that relates to this topic.
Oh, okay, yes, I forgot about that. You go ahead.
It actually relates. So WGA, and
The
what
Writing
was it?
Actors Guild.
ADG, that's Association. What was it? AD is Art Directors Guild. Now, there's a leaked letter written from I think I actually need to start a little bit farther back. So, if you want to get hired, if you want to get hired by a studio to be a writer, you have to be part of the guild, which is an annoying process to even be accepted into. Like, they have to offer to let you in. You have to check boxes on your profile saying things like you're neurodivergent, you're black, you're disabled, you're gay, whatever. And basically, it's a vetting process. Keep out white people and straight people, and to keep them from writing movies. So, a leaked letter
It's not hard to believe.
from one of the directors of the WGA is, and I quote, "Male and pale is stale is driving the types of films and TV shows that get made." That's their secret motto. And so they're being, again, this is the being bigoted about hiring theme. So we're going back to that topic again.
So there's a club you have to be a part of?
Guild.
Guild?
I mean, yeah, same thing, but
To be in certain productions, anyway.
yeah.
Dude, can we just nuke California?
And so you can get hired if you're not in part of the WGA. It's just a lot harder.
Yeah,
Nah,
you
this
just
is too
you don't
pretentious.
have benefits,
And
and,
they
you don't make
are-
as much money.
Yeah. So if
Too
you're
elitist for my blood.
I lost my train of thought. Damn you. What was I saying? Damn it. You made me lose my place. Well, this is embarrassing. Right. So they're blacklisting these straight people.
Pun
And-
intended.
Yes.
Did you just sail away from Tortuga just to go back to Tortuga?
That was a good one. Yes,
Yeah.
pun fully intended. They're blacklisting white people.
You're not on the list.
You're not on the list.
This is the blacklist.
Are you doing a quest, Micah? I'm gonna kill you.
But not only that,
Yes.
but they're actually going to enforce training on people who are allowed to write.
Oh.
And guess what this training is
Brainwashing.
called? Guess what it's called?
White
Guess what
people
they're
suck.
calling this training that they're going to force on they're going to try to force on the ADG as well. But it's in WGA. As far as I know, they're the only ones. But this is, this inclusion training. Guess what the name is called? Any?
BIPOCs for literacy.
No.
Dang. That'd have been clever.
It is called Jedi training. Justice, equity, diversity, and inclusion training. Jedi
Oh
training.
my gosh. Kill me!
They said, we encourage every WGA member to take advantage of the training, which will be conducted through our partnership with Elevate Inclusion, which is the company that's doing this training, and is open to all members in good standing. In other
not the
words,
Jedi way.
good standing is anybody who's not pale, male, or straight, or white. If you're white and you're straight or you're male, you're not in good standing. So basically, only good standing members can get this training, which is good, but you won't get hired if you don't get this training. This is required for the WJ, and they're also trying to push it on the ADG.
Man, this is cringe.
See,
Jedi training.
I smell lawsuit.
That is indeed a lawsuit. A hell of a lawsuit, too.
Smell it.
Yeah, members in good standing.
Is there
Available in single session dates or online and interactive by Zoom.
You cannot discriminate who can and cannot get training and then determine whether they get hired based off of that.
They're
Is
doing
there
it.
proof of the guy's letter? Can we prosecute him?
I mean, it's a guild, right? That's just
Mhm.
a private organization.
Yeah. Again, like, this is the best way to get into writing for film and television, is being part of this guild. It is another
That is
boss,
crazy.
and they don't really stand up for you in court or whatever issues you may have. So it's, at this point, they're kind of useless. But they're just a giant gatekeeping company. So.
Oh my gosh, it's just like the whole equity card thing for stage actors.
Yep.
They don't actually do anything for you legally like they're supposed to, and you just give them like an absurd amount of your paycheck, and you spout the right thing and you get to be in a play. It's absurd.
Yes. Same thing with WGA. They don't actually support you in any legal terms, and they actually won't if you're white, male, or straight. I mean, that's the small gist of it, because I'm not going to bore you with the nitty-gritty ins and outs, but it is Film Threat is a culture news site and YouTube channel. They've been actually covering this in great detail, so I guess it's on the front of their page, so
They're
can put
fairly
it in there.
reputable.
They're very reputable. Run mostly by Chris Gore and Alan Ng, who are very reputable people who've been in the industry a long time.
Yeah, Chris Gore's got a lot of connections.
A lot of connections. They also have a series called the D Files, and it's like a weekly thing.
Oh yeah, I've read some of that. It is
um,
way too comprehensive for me.
Oh, way too comprehensive. But you should
Because
really
they
go to
like
the website
name
and read it.
names, and it's
It's
hard.
Files,
It's hard to understand.
It's Disney whistleblowers. That's really it.
Ooh.
Basically, a list of everyone
Anonymously-
who's dirty, and it happens to be everyone. So it's thick.
The sad part is like, they're like unanimously sending him these stories of these horrible things that happen on the job and the way they're being discriminated against and all that. They can't go to the legals with this because they're in bed with Disney. They'll just snitch on them to Disney, and Disney will fire them. So they have to unanimously go to this news site as a whistleblower, and basically spill the beans to them because they can't do anything legally because Disney will just freaking fire them. WGA won't stand up for them. They'll just snitch. ADL won't stand up for them. They'll just snitch. It's the same thing. For every kind of guild or club or whatever that you have to be a part of to be in these industries, is that they can't stand up for themselves. They don't have any voice. So that's basically what the D-Files is on Film Threat, is they're telling these people's stories unanimously so they don't get fired.
Anonymously.
Sorry. So people know it and can read these. They're incredibly comprehensive and quite sad, actually. Like really horrifying stories from Disney. So I encourage you to go to Film Threat. Read his stuff, their stuff.
You know, the pale mail
E-files,
and
yeah.
stale stuff is like it upsets me so. It is like what upsets me most about woke, because it's like you're just like, oh my gosh, how did this ever happen? How did they rise to power by being against the majority population? Like what in the world? Like, we have the like weakest men of any era, it feels like, for that to actually work. You know, because like back in the day, this would just be some pathetic, untalented loser trying to get a job, and there would be a dude behind the desk like, no. You're an ass. Like, absolutely not.
What the hell?
Like, it's just nuts.
So yeah, that actually went on for way longer than I intended to, but
That's all right.
they have really, really comprehensive stuff on D-Files and WGA stuff. Like, it will tell you in greater detail.
PDF files.
Horrifying stuff. And yes, WGA is also responsible for basically killing our summer box office. We don't really have one.
It's nice for some movies, though, to not have competition. You know, like Ghostbusters 4 is going to do well, whether it's good or not, because nothing else is coming out.
That summer box office, technically?
It's actually not, but
yeah, I think we
it's
had
not
like
summer box office.
6 movies or something, which is insanely low.
Well, you know, major ones anyway. I mean, you got indie movies to choose from. Plenty of indie movies.
The WGA strike and the Film Actors Guild strike have killed it. I'm pretty sure they're doing the same thing with the diversity stuff for SAG, Screen Actors Guild. I like to call it Film Actors Guild because then it's FAG.
True.
A joke I stole from.
We're gonna move on quick, just to make sure YouTube doesn't catch that.
South Park creators. Okay?
I think
not my joke.
I think that's lore accurate right there.
Hey,
Anyway, we're just gonna keep talking about Nikki Haley. Nikki Haley,
I'm South African. I can say the N word whenever I want.
No, you're not.
You can't stop me.
Nikki Haley.
Sir, there's women and children.
Loses the Nevada primary.
Yes, Nikki. Down
She
with
lost.
Nikki.
And guess who she lost to?
Trump.
No. She lost to a category that we love called None of These Candidates.
What?
Oh, that's beautiful.
She literally lost to nobody because everybody's just like, no, absolutely. Nikki
does
Haley,
that happen?
absolutely not.
And wait, which state?
This is in Nevada. Tons
Oh
of
yeah, Trump's not on the ballot.
Trump's not even
No one else is on the ballot.
on the ballot. He's actually a separate one that's happening today. I don't know how that works. I couldn't explain it to you. So a ton of people showed up just to say screw you, Nikki Haley. Just we hate you. Go away.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Absolutely beautiful. Hilarious.
I'm confused. So they voted nobody, or they voted?
Nobody.
For none-
Nobody won the primary. Well,
How does
Trump
that
will
happen?
probably win tonight, but
Because no one paid to be on the primary ballot. No one did fill out the paperwork but Nikki Haley. Because Nevada requires paperwork to be put on their primary.
and Nikki Haley did not pay for any advertising in Nevada. That might explain it a little. She basically said this in one of her speeches that it just, I mean, she said it, in a nicer politician way, but basically said it wasn't worth her time.
But if anybody votes for her, wouldn't that make her first, technically?
Nope, because the majority of people voted no one.
You can do
'Cause-
that?
Yes, you can.
Yeah, you could say none of these candidates.
What the hell?
Which is it's so amazing. Like she basically
Oh my
said,
gosh.
Screw you, Nevada. You're not worth it. I don't need to campaign here." And Nevada said, "Well, screw you too. You can lose to nobody."
Imagine losing to nobody.
That hurt.
Imagine fighting over second place and you're the only one in the race.
That's how the
And then you
job
don't
market
place
feels.
at all.
Imagine crossing the finish line first in a race, and the judges goes, or the crowd standing there goes, actually you suck, so you don't get anything.
You don't get a participation trophy for being the only one to show up.
Right.
Dang.
It's so good. Oh, it's exactly what she deserves for being obnoxious and being so awful to listen to. Oh man.
That is
Jokes to just write
crazy.
themselves. That was all I had to say about that. I just thought it was funny, really.
I see you've gone AFK, Micah.
Yes.
Do you want to join us and board the ship?
Yeah,
I would love
we're
passive income.
boarding the Queen's Anne. Or the Queen Anne's Revenge.
This is how you make passive income.
We're
right
gonna
here.
loot it. What are
Did
you
we-
saying?
Did we not get the damage? Oh, we
No,
did.
no, we're there. We're there. It
was close.
It was just being screwy for a second there.
Well, no. For flagships, it goes to whoever dealt the most damage. And this person was also doing quite a bit of damage.
Right. So, back to a little bit of England nonsense. In
no.
a House of Lords meeting about the climate, they have
Oh my gosh.
blamed Rowan Atkinson for the poor sales of electric cars. For those of you who don't know, Rowan Atkinson is a legendary comedy actor,
Right, they're blaming him?
better known as Mr. Bean. Oh shoot, I'm down too.
Also, Rowan Atkinson has an insanely good taste in cars.
Yes, he is a car enthusiast. He's been on all sorts of shows, and he has written
Even racist.
he has written columns in all types of magazines and car websites. And he actually did slamming electric cars and the government's attempt to push electric cars and their plan to I can't remember what the year was, but they plan to actually ban gas vehicles by a particular year. It's
That
so
chance.
stupid. And the year was surprisingly close. It was like 35 or something like that.
I thought it was 40, 2040.
Yeah, it probably is. It was somewhere around there. So yeah, he wrote an article rightfully slamming their stupidity, and they basically said it's your fault. An official House of Lords meeting. Rowan Atkinson is to blame for this. And now they're talking about actually I don't think they will because the backlash would be intense, but they were actually talking about like actually holding him responsible, actually prosecuting him and holding him on trial.
So you're
for
going to
working
punish
against
Mr. Bean?
the government. Yeah, you're going to punish Mr. Bean for having an opinion on vehicles.
No, Mr. Bean.
This isn't the first time he's been vocal against the government. He even did a speech against what was it again?
Yeah,
that they had?
way back when they passed like
Against
their first
freedom of speech.
their
right? That's
first
what it was?
law, and they've made many since then, but it was all the way back more than a decade ago when they were passing their first law that infringed on any idea of freedom of speech, which is like a police officer can arrest you if he feels that you've insulted him. Which is so ridiculous. And he did a very impassioned speech about that, about how this can't happen not only because it's silly, but because it's a terrible precedence to set, and it'll be a detriment to all kinds of free speech and comedy and all that. So this is kind of ironic that they might actually prove him perfectly right by holding him responsible for something that he said.
Mm-hmm. Although I think you can get arrested or at least detained for talking to a police officer that could be interpreted as what was it? It was like fighting words. I think that's what they use, like fighting words.
Yeah.
Type of speech.
Yeah, you can get arrested for verbal threats, for insults, even for just anything they categorize as hate speech works too.
But in America, there's a thing where
Oh my
or
goodness.
something. I don't know if you can get like charged with it, but I know you can get like detained or something. So if the police thinks that you're like
I'm gonna go
you're
down.
trying to fight them or something,
My tonic's recharging.
which is interesting.
Damn it.
But
Run.
oh,
Micah,
no.
run. I got
What?
it.
Run.
Okay. Are we
I've
good?
got him.
But yeah,
I got
there
it.
like I said, there's all kinds of things now.
But yeah, the insulting thing is kind of like I feel like
you
you've
first.
insulted me.
It's so stupid. I like to think they're not stupid enough to.
Yeah, I'm still level 19, baby.
But they don't recognize, freedom of speech
No.
as a right. They think it is a privilege bestowed upon you by the government and not a acknowledged thing at birth or even
Right.
beyond birth.
It
Such a-
surprises me. It surprises me that Rowan Atkinson is not knighted.
I thought he was. Is he really not?
I don't think so, because they have to refer to him as such, and in the article they don't.
Me lord, me knighted.
Sir Atkinson. Or maybe they
That's
didn't
wild.
on purpose as a show of disrespect.
So Mr. B.
I'm pretty sure you could get in trouble for that, though.
I Google it, but I'm fighting. Hey,
Same.
Siri. Is Rowan Atkinson knighted?
I only remember him getting knighted in a movie. That's like what I'm thinking of. Oh no!
Dude, he's so
No.
You gotta be
Somebody-
kidding me. This is
Somebody
the
die and come back, or I'll do it.
We can't. It's a flagship.
What?
What happened?
Dude, you just did a spin move.
He got us.
But I hit him with a lightning bolt. That should have killed him.
Well, that was embarrassing. We've got that on stream.
So unfortunate.
Oh,
I will Google
I want
Rowan
more
Atkinson.
money. Me money now.
oh, you need money? I can
Money,
help you
He
with
is
that.
not knighted,
Money.
but he has been made a commander of the British Empire, which is a high honor above OBE.
Okay.
So
So he's
he's
pretty- he's a pretty high rank.
BCE Or no, I'm sorry, CBE.
Yeah.
So his title is Rowan Atkinson CBE. There you go. So he's not knighted, but he did receive quite an honor.
Leave him alone.
Lame.
Leave our boy alone.
How much money do you need, Micah?
Mr. Bean's going down.
You
Your
know,
entire
our boy Johnny English has done a lot for your country.
and your entire portfolio.
Dude, if we were ever at odds with England, I would just single him out like he's the leader. I would be like, Commander of England, Rowan Atkinson. We've come to-
British Empire.
Yes, Commander of the British Empire, Rowan Atkinson. We've come to treaty with you. And I would just ignore everyone else. Rishi
awesome.
Sunak would be like, I'm the king! And I'll be like, no. It's Mr. Bean.
You have no authority here.
You have no authority here.
Oh,
Mr.
shoot.
Beanie.
Actually, I don't have any health files. I'm going to go back to Tortuga.
Yep, I'm buying a lot.
Oh, we're not
then-
going to be boarding any
And
ships.
then I will return.
How's that?
'Cause,
We are doing a loot run.
so
to
here's
get Micah some money.
something amusing.
Yippee.
I need to sink some ships. I will be right back. I gotta go grab some.
Let me just buy some tonics. Okay.
I'd be plundering.
Kazakhstan passes a law
Kazakhstan?
for if you want to do it the boring way, it's more fun to pronounce it like Zach, Powell.
Kazakh.
Like, come on, man, have a little flair.
True.
Anyway, they passed a law for surgically castrating pedos after deciding that chemical castration was not enough. Which is pretty
not enough.
hilarious. They're like, you know
Go the
what?
extra step.
That's not quite good enough. You gotta cut them balls off. You gotta get it all the way.
The heck is a Kazakhstan?
Kazakhstan?
It's a country.
Where?
It's right along Russia. It's along the southeast border of Russia, I believe, along the Ural Mountains off the top of my head. It used to be part of the Soviet Union.
Interesting.
Yet
Yeah,
again,
I don't think the Russian culture tolerates much of pedophiles there.
I don't think most cultures typically do.
Yeah, you
but
kind of
you'd be
have, you
surprised.
have to go to the Middle East for that.
Or Asia.
There's not a whole lot in Asia anymore.
I I don't know, man. Their age of consent's kind of low. Just saying.
That's just Japan.
Yeah,
Japan's weird.
It's 16 now. It's better than it was. They're getting there. Give
I
them
don't know,
time.
man. They
Alright.
got like slaves and stuff in China. Never know.
That,
Well, that's a whole that's a whole nother
Okay.
matter.
Look, I'm just saying it's pretty prevalent. So Russian culture is not really about that for the most part.
sure.
They like to execute pedophiles and say it was an accident.
I condone that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I
They
can
do
vi-
some
I can
things right.
vibe with that.
I'm back.
Do we need to?
Black.
I do need to sink some oddly specific ships.
I just need galleons and frigates. So I
I need
just
the
shoot at
Revenant,
everything.
Marauder, and Monarch. That's it.
Oh, I don't need any
Oh.
bone ships.
Monarch and Marauder, and 1 Revenant.
We've got a Revenant right here on the port side.
Perfect. That's all I need to sink.
So anyway,
just need to sink one of
not
those.
much to say about that. Yet again, just thought it was funny. 'Cause it's fun. So we've talked a lot about Trump's possible VP pick. Everybody's interested. Nobody's talking about
He's gonna
Biden
nominate a
because
black
they don't
man.
care, and he's not even campaigning, which is pathetic. And where are we? Right. So there have been talks of so many different people. There was some woman who I can't remember the name of. There's Vivek. There's Tim Scott. There's Tucker Carlson. There's a few other politicians who I can't remember. So many names being thrown around. But Trump's advisor, Kellyanne Conway, says that the top of the list for BP at the moment is Dr. Ben Carson.
Good pick.
Hmm?
Good pick.
Yeah, I thought so. I think that's pretty solid. They gained a lot of respect.
I think
for
there's
each-
one problem with him. He's short. Yeah, I got you with that.
Okay.
Something else.
Anyway, they built a rapport when they were, campaigning against each other for the 2016 election, and they like clasped arms on stage, and it was like everyone was comparing it to that scene in Predator.
What?
You old son of a bitch. You know what I'm talking about?
You son of a bitch. Steal it. I got that backwards.
Yeah.
It's been too long
Anyway,
since I've
it's
seen that movie.
it's the scene where Arnold Schwarzenegger and Carl Weathers, rest in peace, clasp arms, and it became a
Micah,
meme.
you know the meme of the
Oh.
muscular white arm and black arm clasping hands?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's their
It's
arms.
from that movie. It's from that movie.
my
Because they
gosh.
meet up and then they do the arm close up, and it's awesome.
And it's like
Yeah.
vein popping and all that. It's pretty great.
Yeah, I love that.
Yes, rip Carl Weathers.
Yeah, Carl Weathers
He'll get it.
died this week.
This week.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's
My
unfortunate.
gosh.
unfortunate.
He
Wasn't
was-
it just yesterday or
he
the
was
day
great.
before?
It wasn't
yeah.
yesterday, so I think it was the day
I
before.
think it was Monday.
How old
It was
was
pretty
he?
recent.
70,
70-something?
right? He was in his 70s.
They
76,
didn't
I think.
say how he died, but they said in his sleep.
Oh.
That was all they said.
Sus.
Might have been due to
Somebody
a
killed him.
certain injection that Disney requires you to have.
Because
The
he wasn't
feds.
a very healthy individual. 76, yeah.
Yeah, he was pretty fit. If you didn't glean that from his his history. I can't even remember what we were talking about. Oh yeah,
remember-
Ben Carson.
Next black guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dr. Ben Carson. What do we think about that?
Is he the surgeon guy?
Yeah,
He was a
he's the neurosurgeon.
pediatrician.
Like talks
He's a
like
neurosurgeon. He's
he
a
talks
pediatric
like,
neurosurgeon.
Right.
I don't even know how to explain how he talks, but he talks very strange. Like
Well,
Mike
Uh,
Tyson, something like that.
What?
Does he?
He's got like a really high pitched voice, and he talks
maybe
really
I'm
softly.
misremembering.
Like, what did-
Can anyone confirm this?
I think he's
I
got like
don't
high pitch, and he
remember.
talks softly, and it's funny.
I don't remember.
I
He
don't
talks.
recall him sounding weird, but I suppose it might be true. We'll just
I think he's unfit for the position.
okay. Elaborate.
I don't know.
No.
Hey,
Oh,
well,
you didn't
wait.
actually.
No, he was in the cabinet, right? In Trump's cabinet or something like that. Beforehand,
Not that I know of.
or maybe
I
I'm
don't
thinking-
believe he was. I think you're thinking about a completely different person.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, you might be.
Well, yeah. He was in some sort of, maybe he was running for president back in the day when Trump was. Running.
That's what I
That's
said.
how that's how we literally introduced him.
Yeah, that's where I remember him. He wasn't actually like in. The
Yeah, that's how
executive.
we got on to Carl Weathers because I was comparing.
I think Micah is half
I think yeah, you totally
I
lost
don't,
that whole conversation.
dude. I just don't remember like. I remember he was like kind of conservative and
Oh my gosh.
well spoken, but he was like soft spoken, and nobody liked him because he wasn't really like fit for leadership. But he had a lot of good ideas, so that's all I remember really.
Well, I think Trump's pretty loud, so I think they would balance each
Yeah.
other out. You know,
They're better than
I don't
Kamala.
think the VP's got to be. Like, the only reason you, like, want someone to sound aggressive is so that it gives you an idea that they can be aggressive in office. But, like, in practice, that's not really what you want. You want someone to speak softly.
Remember what
and carry
Teddy
a big-
Roosevelt said? Speak softly and carry a big
Yes.
stick.
That's right.
Insane. So, it's...
Pack some heat.
So he could be that guy. I don't really know. I would have to... 2016 was an awful long time ago. And I wasn't... I mean, I was following politics then, but I didn't understand it to quite the extent, because I was a...
Did your
no,
game
I'm
crash, Micah?
Yeah, it did.
Uh,
You were a nematode.
so, yeah, I don't know. That's interesting. As, you know... As long as he gives Vivek Ramaswamy something to do, then I'm happy.
Yeah. I just don't want people picking people because of their race. Like, I'm just kind of sick of that.
Oh. I hope that's
That's
not what
annoying.
it is. I hope that he's competent. I don't really know.
You know that's at least part of it. He's like, you know.
I mean, it would help.
Probably not.
You know
Is.
it would help. Like, we're all thinking that, but that may not be... Like, that might just be a bonus. That might not be...
Dude, that is definitely
Part of
that's
their-
in Trump's mind. He's like, he's black.
Well, that doesn't mean
help
it's
him.
gonna be what encourages him to choose him. Just because it's a bonus.
I mean,
I don't know.
That doesn't roll out to Ramaswamy either, because Ramaswamy's Indian.
That's true.
I don't know. I
that's
think
true.
it's from Swami just because the way Trump acts around him is different.
So once we
hope
get the
so.
bounty hunt on us, we're just going to run around and wait for Micah to join the ship again. And port.
So yeah, Trump
hope
does
he gets
have diversity options. So I hope if he goes with Carson, that means that there
I wonder
was
where I'm a Swami.
there was merit to that.
I think,
But of
yeah, I
course,
think
I-
Karsten would compliment Trump more than Vivek.
Maybe.
Policy-wise, I don't know.
Trump and Vivek are very alike, which could be both good or bad,
I
or a little of
I
both.
think it will be a detriment, if I'm gonna be honest.
because they're both tough businessmen who are very aggressive.
They're gonna
so I
like
don't
be
know.
fighting each other in the Oval Office. Should be like
Fist fight.
Falling in the
WWE.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. It could go either way. The only reason I'm concerned about it is just because Pence on the outside did seem like a good choice, and he was just not at all. So
Sure.
I don't know.
But he was a
I
white
feel
male.
like I can't trust Trump 100% to do the right thing.
There he is.
Micah, you can still join the ship.
Because Pence was such a weak
I'm on the ship.
choice.
Perfect.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, Trump was absolutely weak. Oh, not Trump. Pence was
Yeah.
absolutely weak.
Pence was weak. Pence
he-
was useless. Terrible pick.
He's too much of a politician.
Yeah. Yeah. And I guess
Simple as that.
that's a way where another
Oh
benefit
my gosh.
of Carson or
Oh
Vivek
my gosh.
is they are not politicians.
That's what, 7,600 gold for everyone?
Very nice. Very nice.
Yippee!
That's hot. That's hot.
There's that.
Now I have all of the money.
Yeah. Pence was absolutely the wrong choice.
Well, he's definitely learned from these mistakes.
Why did he
Yeah.
choose Pence?
Well, Pence had the experience in, the swamp.
Yeah, and it was also
Yeah.
to get the reason that Kellyanne Conway suggested him was to get the evangelical vote, which did work.
Mm-hmm.
It's not what I would have done, but it did work. So there's that.
Interesting.
Definitely,
Keep an eye
definitely
out
one
for
of the
Monarch
things
and
that
Marauder
created
ships.
the MAGA
Monarch and Marauder.
troop.
Yeah, just keep an eye out. That's what I need.
Them radicals.
Cool, man.
So last week we talked about the impeachment inquiry for Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. Mayorkas Darkus. And unfortunately, the vote to impeach Mayorkas has failed
There's
by
a traitor.
2 votes.
What?
Yeah. So
Well, I
this
shouldn't run
guy
fast.
who broke the law in his position
Wasn't he in charge of the border?
at
or
least 64 different times is just he's gonna walk.
Was Mayorkas in charge of
he-
the border?
And Mayorkas is
Or-
saying he's
or defense?
not
Home
resigning.
defense. Homeland
Oh.
Homeland Security.
Yeah, we talked about him last week.
Hmm.
But
2
yeah,
votes.
Mayorkas
Wait, how
says-
many voted?
was like 400. It was literally like 216 against 214, I think was the numbers.
Oh my gosh.
I know. And here's the worst part. 3 Republican representatives from Colorado, Wisconsin, and California voted no. Why?
Some more rhinos.
Why?
I don't understand why we're not more in agreement on this. Like, he's literally failing at his job.
Yeah,
Like-
he's broken the law.
He's,
What?
he's
What in the world?
knowingly going against his very job description.
Yep, he's
That
not
is-
securing the homeland.
No. Oh my gosh.
It's nuts. But Representative Blake Moore claims that they're doing it to bring it up later at a more
Man,
politically convenient time.
man, it don't matter.
Like they could have done it
Get
right
them
now,
out.
right there, but they're like, you know what? We'll try and impeach him again nearer to election season or when the next president comes along.
Why?
And I kind of understand because you don't want an idiot to take his place. But at the same time, bro, what if that was your chance? What if that was it?
Dude, the border is being absolutely dominated. And you're like,
But they're like, well,
fine.
we'll sustain the rest of the year. It'll be fine.
Yeah, we'll wait a couple years while we have millions of illegals pouring in. It's fine.
Yeah,
Whether-
I also learned this morning that when the
Oh, I just need
when the
more audio
illegal
shits
when
now.
the illegals are counted,
Oh,
they
yeah.
don't count children. I did not know that.
What?
Yeah,
In all of the reporting, they don't count children.
they don't count children, and that's like the
Oh
policy.
Oh my god.
They do not count children.
So
which is
we're just
Except
we're done.
Biden is cracking.
It's
We're done, bro. This country's.
it's interesting.
Biden likes the kids. Are we
Mhm.
going to talk about the fact that he said he was talking, I think it was yesterday, to a guy who had been dead since 1996?
Oh yeah, he's apparently seeing the ghost of a French president.
I don't know. He thought he was German, though.
Oh yeah, he
German president.
was not understanding the language of this ghost.
The funny part is he said German president. And he said, "Oh, I'm sorry, French president." And then, I kid you not, in the next sentence he said German president again. He corrected himself and immediately forgot.
Interesting.
Hilarious.
Yeah, it was like, oh no. And it seemed like he's trying to be somewhat heartfelt about this.
He sees dead people.
He's talking to a dead guy. He'd been died since 96. He wasn't even. I don't think he would have even been going to the UN in 96. I mean,
Yeah, I
I guess
laugh, but I just find that sad.
it would technically
Dude,
be
I just
before because he resigned.
Well,
I
yeah.
think he left office in 95, so it would have been before 96. It would have been
yeah, it's
about
pretty
95.
sad because that's a special level of dementia. But at the same time, the mental image of him like playing with the Ouija board under the sheets and he's like giggling and then someone bursts in. Like, what are you doing, Joe? You're not supposed to be talking
I'm
to
Contacted
talking to
the
the-
Frenchman.
I'm
Just
talking
German,
to
I
the
mean.
German president. Can I have some
You
ice
can't
cream?
do that. But no,
Ice cream me up.
it's
Right here, right in the veins, right here,
it's elder
Dude.
abuse to keep
right here.
this guy going
Ice cream in the
and
veins.
holding any kind of
He
office.
gets an IV drip of ice cream to keep him going.
Dude, that's how he's buzzed sometimes. Got that ice cream.
I'm gonna pee.
like
You guys talk about Joe Biden and the border.
He's like 80% ice cream. Absolute gelatin of a man.
Hey, you.
He's just like slaps his veins. He's like, yeah, right here.
This
Give me some ice cream.
taps his stomach. This baby
love
can hold
chocolate
so
covered.
much ice cream.
And it jiggles. Oh my gosh. I mean, look, if you're in, especially in his position, but any kind of position that you could think of, like, I don't really care. You get you get to be criticized, even if you have, old folk syndrome or whatever you have. That's just how it is, because that's the job. You have to be at least coherent. So
Well, I only find it sad because, I mean, I lost my grandmother years ago now. Or one of my grandmothers years ago now to Alzheimer's. So seeing him decline is just, oh, it's so familiar.
yeah, I mean-
Honestly, the fact that they're still putting him up there, I have an unpopular opinion. It's elder abuse.
Oh, 100%.
yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, they're just propping him up
They're
and
putting
abusing him.
a guy with obvious dementia up there on the podium and making a total fool of himself. It's elder abuse. That's
Yeah.
what it is. Sure, I hate the guy, but it is what it is.
I wouldn't wish that on anyone to be abused that way.
No, I mean, geez, when I'm that old, I hope nobody takes advantage of me if I get dementia when I'm that old.
Yeah, even though
Or
they're
just shoot me.
Wait,
I think
hang on.
I would find it hilarious if somebody did that to me, but that's just me, my sense of humor.
Yeah, shoot me. Not worth it. I
want to
have to
say
hope-
the wildest stuff and not be accountable because
Okay,
I have
Our
no
grandpa
memory.
is as old as Joe Biden, and he has all his marbles and can drive.
That's just
Oh
genetics.
yeah,
Man.
no. If you still have quality of life, that's okay. But
Yeah.
if you don't have quality of life,
Then we need to kill old people now.
No, we
We
killed
need to
Joe Biden.
euthanize.
Exactly. And I'm just saying it's more of a dementia thing than purely age thing.
oh yeah,
Send him
Even
to
yeah.
the
though that
ranch.
does technically go hand in glove.
Yeah, but
It
it's
is
not
more
always.
dementia than how old he is. Like, I wouldn't argue he shouldn't be president purely because he's old. Because, again, my grandpa has all his marbles.
I mean,
Yeah.
so does my grandfather. My grandfather's just a bit older.
Yeah, see? I think it's more of get rid of him because he's lost it.
Yeah.
Insane. I mean, yeah, in generally speaking, I would like most government positions to be elder
Put an
type.
age limit.
I don't know if I want an age limit or not. I'm just saying because older people are normally wiser, but not like 80-year-olds, because that's just like
Retire.
Well, that could be the
yeah,
limit if
you
you want.
need to retire. But like I don't know, 40
The average
to
person retires anywhere from 60 to 72. And I think that
I mean, 80's,
be a good
80's reasonable because you had to be 30 to run, so that gives you a reasonable 50-year window to be president.
Yeah.
you have all your
think that's fine.
faculties and wisdom, from like I don't know, from 20, 30 years old to 70 or 80, and then most of the time your mind is just gone. So I think older people should be running, but not like super old people. Definitely not young people, because young people are retarded.
How old is Trump? Any
So,
like
Micah, do you need
70
money or do you just want to think
70
shit?
I'll look it up.
73 or something like that?
I'll look it up.
I have money.
Perfect. Kidding
77.
applies.
So he's
Starboard side.
so Trump is right on the edge there.
Hey. Oh, Hunter.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, what's it called? There's some position in elected official position. It's like basically translates into elders, and I forget what it's called, but yeah, I don't remember, but you know, most governmental positions are supposed to be for older people because they're wiser, they have more experience. You know, they're not volatile in their ideas and actions most of the time. So just overall. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, there's so many ships around us.
Yeah, we got rammed, and I had to take some evasive maneuvers there.
But also I don't want you to be like Bernie Sanders, which hardly, if at all, have ever had any life experience like working.
Well, that's what most of the politicians do.
Yeah.
And
Their work is being a politician for their entire life.
that shouldn't be how it is.
I think you need like qualifiers.
We've got a warship after us now.
Did anyone have anything else on the border, or we good?
Nope.
Border. There's a lot of migrants on the border.
Pretty gay.
Yeah.
Illegal.
Yeah. All them illegals.
Wait, did we always call them migrants, or is that the politically correct term?
That's the politically correct, is to say migrants, asylum seekers. I mean, migrant is correct in a literal term, but it like deliberately ignores the important part of that, which is that they're illegal.
Illegality.
Yeah.
I mean,
Call them aliens.
That works too.
Call them jumping beans.
Okay, all right. So, English churches have been paid by the government to endorse illegals.
Oh my.
And I don't know how, but like,
Kinda gay.
having it helps to get like, it's easier for criminals to get categorized as asylum seekers if they have a priest from some religion to like back them up. And
What?
the Christian
Like Christian?
in Christian churches who are losing their dominance are all too happy, especially Catholic churches and Methodist churches are all too happy
gosh.
to be affirming. So these
Oh
illegals
my god.
are getting converted by the boatload. I think there was some illegal boat that was alleged to have like 300 converts. And obviously, if that
insane.
were real, you know, praise the Lord, obviously. That's awesome. But,
Ain't no way.
you know, anyone who was actually converted, that's fantastic. You know, assuming that the church is giving them a legitimate, you know, picture. But
I think it's a
obviously,
prosperity church.
especially it's not. It's obviously not legitimate. Or most of them are not going to be legitimate. And it also, you know, with how many, you know, even though Christianity is not the dominant religion, it's still, you know, a big deal. So it helps to fight their culture war if they've got the churches spouting stuff. So the government is giving the church all kinds of money to be like,
Really?
hey, sponsor the illegals. And we'll give you money and you can, you know, you can keep up with all of the Muslims.
Well,
coming
doesn't
in.
that only count if you're being like persecuted for your faith?
If they were trying to be categorized as martyrs, yeah.
like, because you can have what is it? Connected countries. You can seek asylum in them if you're like persecuted for your faith or something like that. Like you're being genocided
Yeah.
or whatever.
That's one of the things is they're calling everyone an asylum seeker these days, but most of them are not being persecuted by anyone. And
They're
later
economic.
complain about how they had jobs and they were doing just fine, and now things are worse.
Yeah. So it's just all illegitimate.
Pretty
So-
much. And the church is one of the ways they say, hey, it is legitimate.
I
They are
being
suffering
persecuted. Yes.
because they're a Christian.
Totally.
Totally.
That is like that's blasphemous.
Obviously.
Just using God. Like,
It's yeah, definitely a very special sin.
yeah. Not good. But they
It's
all
the
probably
type of
believe
thing
in
that would have Jesus flipping tables.
yeah. They all believe in Allah anyway, so I guess it doesn't matter to them.
Right.
Well, technically, that's a crime as well
that's
in their religion.
that's true.
Oh, claiming a different religion? Oh yeah, I guess you're
Yeah.
right.
But it's fine because
But what if you're doing it-
no one in England is going to come after them for that. So,
Yeah, but what if you're doing it in the cause of
So-
taking over a country? Then
Nope.
Allah would like that.
well,
right?
not that
'Cause it
either.
Nope.
They
says-
could delude themselves into thinking that, and I'm sure they do.
Doesn't the Quran says you can lie and manipulate as long as your end goal is to, perpetuate?
Yes,
and
but I don't
conquer
know
and
if
stuff
that
like that.
extends to religious lying, like
I think it
swearing
does.
fealty to another religion. I don't know.
No.
Mm,
But otherwise, I mean, you're
Probably do.
right. Deception is acceptable in that. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure nonetheless, many delude themselves into thinking that, it's fine and that they still have the right.
they have the Muslim pass.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's they're definitely being taken over rather swiftly.
We can't replace royal chests, right? That is a ship of the line.
Bro, when
gone.
are we gonna park? This is ridiculous.
We're parking now.
Okay, good. we've gotten all the good loot that we can.
I know we could replace the treasure chest, the royal chest, the loot patches, and the loot chests. Quite a bit.
It wouldn't be that much better. Come on.
It'd be a lot of ship materials, which is what I need to upgrade my ships. But
Yeah, but we could just shoot more ships.
you have to shoot either bounty hunt or sink bounty hunters for regular ship material chests, or sink warships, or sorry, the big ship of the line stuff for the royal ship material chests.
Britannia.
So
So we got one more subject. Ladies and gentlemen.
I think this has been majority Britain news.
Well, let's see. We had 11 segments and
A lot of migrants.
I mean 3 of them were England. Oh no, 4.
Really?
4 of them.
Okay.
So almost half, like 40%.
Dude, what was gonna happen when there's when England implodes? Then no more news.
No, there will still be news.
But they're gonna be like
it'll be under a different name.
they're gonna be like super tight-lipped about it because it's like Muslim controlled.
That's true, but things will still get out. We'll still,
Yeah, I
I mean,
guess
we
so.
still get plenty of news from the Middle East that's just uninteresting. Oh boy, they're shooting each other again.
Yeah,
It doesn't really matter what it is.
It's a little repetitive in there in that area.
It isn't like our allies, Britain, where we would like to see them doing well.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyway, so the since disbanded January 6th committee paid to have a documentary made by PBS about the January 6th committee. Not narcissistic at all.
Okay.
Talking about how, important they are and just blowing a lot of smoke up their butts. But, when people tend to do that, and, villains tend to monologue. They don't know when to stop talking and telling us about their plans. And they basically admitted that the January 6 trials were like, was basically a highly fabricated TV production.
Look at this hat I found.
They're like it's all
They
entertainment.
basically said,
Whoa.
"Oh, we want this to be
That's hot.
like a series
That's
that
hot.
people follows, and each little report on it is going to be about a little bit of a different subject,
Dude, I'm
like
so
episodes of television." And they even hired like a writer, because they're not storytellers, to organize it basically, and
What?
give them good stuff. And the series idea was by ABC News president James Goldston, who is infamous for blocking the alleged Epstein tapes, which means, they probably were very incriminating. Because otherwise, why would he have done that? And so they admit that, we needed to tell a story with this. Basically admitted, and you can see in the videos down below that, yeah, it was an election year publicity stunt, because they said, oh, we were losing the audience. And if you lose them once, you lose them forever. So we had to
Manufactured trauma and prolonged.
right, we had
Trumped
to
up things.
ramp things up, kick things up a notch,
Yeah.
give them something worth watching, basically.
King's Head. That's
And-
crazy. They did a documentary about that.
I know. It's nuts, but that's, narcissism for you.
I guess.
And the other thing was
so
that
proud
they
of it.
admitted that it was supposed to last a lot longer.
Mhm.
They were like, yeah, we were gonna do like a total of like 9 events that we were going to focus on and turn into a big thing.
What?
Like they literally had this whole plan. And no wonder that ABC is owned by Disney.
Why don't they
It's
interview
all
the
the same
people that?
same people, all the same crap,
Why don't they interview all the people that entered the building?
Because that doesn't fit their narrative.
Yeah, it doesn't at all.
See, if they are actually making a documentary and they wanted, more episodes or whatever, they would interview those people. But
So what I cite
I don't think they
below
will.
from
Let's go ahead.
was from Benny Johnson, because he shows a whole bunch of clips, and he also hilariously contrasts it with clips of the police opening doors for people and Them calmly walking through. It's hilarious. But yeah, you could just add that to the list of things that you're gonna say to people, and they're gonna look at you like you're crazy. And they always will. They're always gonna call you a conspiracy theorist, when in reality, they're always admitting to this stuff all of the time.
It's just a fact. A theory, a game theory, a political theory. What the heck? Kill. It will kill.
That would be like if I was standing next to a dead body and I was like, I shot him. And Tommy turned to everyone else and was like, guys, I think he shot him. And you were like, no, that's ridiculous. How could you possibly think such a thing? And I'm like, no, I did it. And you're like, nah. No. Absurd propaganda. Right-wing extremism.
I think it was
crazy
yes,
conservative.
the institutions of the patriarchy and the white fragility that influenced your hand. And so really it wasn't your fault. It was,
Yeah, it was
that.
the system.
It was the system.
We have all our people voted into places of power in the system, but it's the system at the same time. Not us, but it also is.
It is, but it is not.
It's whatever I want it to be at any given moment.
I will brag, but I will deny.
Whatever fits.
That's the
fits
power you
narrative.
want.
Huh?
That's the power you want to have.
What's that?
Be able to change the narrative whenever you want to fit your story.
Yeah, well, that's what they can do. At ABC News, they did so very powerfully, apparently. It was super effective. And I mean, that's why, we always end up talking about pop culture stuff on our politics podcast, because when you've got a company like Disney firing people for DEI, and then the channel that they own is fabricating ridiculous news stories, it all kind of goes hand in hand.
And they're talking to the federal department.
And it's all owned by BlackRock and the other banks who own all kinds of politicians. It's all together.
Like the executive branch, talked to, what was it? Was it Facebook, or maybe it was a lot of the social media sites.
They do with Facebook and Instagram rather openly, and then of course there was the Twitter debacle before Elon.
Oh yeah, and
it.
Google. They're talking about misinformation and stuff.
Google is all too happy
have.
to censor their page.
Yeah. We cannot have misinformation, okay? We need to...
There's only my information. There's just the information that I like.
You need to provide the most centralized information from the trusted sources that we have, and no one else's.
George Carlin described it really well. He said you don't need a formal conspiracy to believe any of this, and they don't need a formal conspiracy either. They all go to the same country clubs. They all have the same interests. Like, they don't need to converse with one another to be this giant evil amoeba. Because they're all the same.
Amoeba. one of those amoebas.
You know
I
what
will
I
not
mean?
be a bug person.
Like, just because
You cannot make me.
just because everything is connected doesn't mean it's some big conspiracy, right?
Yep.
You shall not convert me into bug man.
Just the way it is, the way it works,
Honest.
unfortunately.
Well,
Nice.
we're lucky enough to have the freest, what is it? Freest dialogue in the world at criticizing our overlords. Everywhere else in the world has like a lot more pressure on them when they talk badly about the ruling regime. So I'm grateful for that, but we do have to hold our ground, or else we will become like many other countries
Right.
Yep.
that have fallen.
And that's why this culture war is so important, because we do value that, and this whole war is about taking that away. It's about a lot of issues, but it all starts with taking that away.
That's the main issue.
Yeah, it's all connected to that. The Lotus Eaters actually did a great video about why conservatives will lose the culture war.
That was interesting.
Yeah, and well, the thing is basically is that we're just terminally uncool.
Yeah.
I would.
I mean,
in
like-
most cases, doing it purely to earn the libs.
Like our mission has been to own the libs rather than just make good things, and it kind of makes us know better. And so our big wins are things like Ben Shapiro rapping, making the charts, which is stupid. Like, you're not gonna get anyone on your side with that at all.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. You need to change cultural norms through being genuine and not just being bombastic and owning people.
Right. It can't be out of spite. It's gotta be
Yeah,
it's gotta be genuine.
yeah. So I get that. Yeah, there is a side to conservatism or right wing people in culture today that does that. It's unfortunate, but I mean,
Yeah.
you know.
I mean, it's kind of the way of things. I mean, you look at like Daily Wire, right? The content they put out.
Mm-hmm.
It ranges from stuff that is political in nature and is saying something politically,
Yeah.
to just mediocre stuff.
Yeah. I think generally they do a good job at doing political and cultural stuff. But yeah, they are some of them are some of the productions that they've done in people on their roster are less than others.
Yeah, because like if you look at like their kids' content, it's all political. You look at their two most recent big movies. There's Lady Ballers, which is obviously political, and then you've got
Yeah. Political
the cowboy
comedy.
one, which was not political, but it was just mediocre. It wasn't gonna win anyone over, right? And so that's kind of like where the conservatives are in the culture war, and why they're going to lose, because they're not focusing on making anything that's like really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I
I mean, you could even look at their
I
future
don't know.
projects. I mean, what are their future projects? You've got Snow White, which is just to own Disney. That's out of spite. And then you've got their Arthurian Legends series that's based on the book series, which
Mm-hmm.
is going to appeal to homeschoolers.
Yeah.
And that's
I mean,
that's about it. That's what you're gonna get out of that. And so it's like,
Well,
yeah, I
what-
mean, like it. I mean, hopefully they start improving and they learn how to do good filmmaking along the way, and I'm sure they will. But at the moment, they're not coming up with any ideas that's really going to be a big win.
mm-hmm. Well, I do think they've done some decent work. I don't
Oh, I agree.
have not
Decent
watched. I have not watched any of their like
I'm not
full
disputing
length
that.
films, but I've heard that like What Is a Woman was like really good and really
Work.
culturally.
Oh yeah, that was a good documentary.
It was like
But yet again, that's a political thing. It was excellent. It was great. I'm so glad that it was made. It seemed to help a lot, but it's not. That's not going to help us
But
win the culture war.
it
A
was in the
documentary
zeitgeist
will not
of
help.
like general topics, I guess, that people talk about, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Like the general populace knew about it, type of thing,
right.
which is good. And I think political isn't the definition of political like public or something like that, or it came from the
Well,
word public.
I don't know. You know what I mean. Like
Yeah, I mean,
like deliberately
politics
trying
comes
to
first in the narrative type of thing. Is that what you're talking
deliver-
about?
Yeah, like trying to deliver a very obvious political message. I mean, that's not always bad or the wrong thing to do, but if that's like the main goal of a particular project, especially if it's fiction, then you're not going to get a lot of benefit out of that.
Yeah, I would say focus more on morals, values, and a good narrative, and that will drive your decision making in political matters rather than being very upfront and blunt about it. I think
Right.
that sways a lot more people, like talking to
I agree. Like
With
just
the
making
foundations
good stuff that happen
that are-
just so happens
that's
to
not
have
morally
good
bankrupt.
morals and yeah.
yeah. But I haven't watched any of their movies, so I can't really say
I mean,
one
they
way or
haven't really
another.
made anything bad.
Yeah, I just don't know if it was
It's
like
all competent stuff.
ham-fisted political stuff.
Lady
because
Ballers is
that's what
pretty
they're-
ham-fisted.
Yeah, well, I mean that's a comedy. I think that
It's still
I think
funny,
that's what they were
but
going
it's
for.
pretty. It's not like subtle or particularly clever. It's funny, but it's not.
Yeah, because we
it's not
complain
really
about that
impressive.
on the left side where they put woke
Right.
ideology in all of the media. So it is kind of a shame if the other side does the same stuff. But I mean, I think
Right.
you just kind of get that. But yeah, you should probably focus on not that.
Right, and that's what I'm saying is we're kind of losing because we've yet to do a big thing, and we fail to embrace things that are wins in disguise. Like they brought up Barbie
Mhm.
and how Barbie is like accidentally a huge win for conservatives
Yeah.
and is would be absolutely brilliant if that's what they were trying to do. Like it's such a failure that it's a success for us, and we should really like
Be grateful or
be
something.
embracing the Kenergy
Yeah.
nonsense as silly as it is.
Yeah, instead of just knee-jerk reaction, be like, "Oh, this is feminism.
Yeah,
This is bunk." Instead of
because it
actually
does
seeing.
suck. It's like tons of. There's a ton about it that's like uh that's excellently done. Like there's there's a bunch of good actors in it. Not all the actors are good, but there's a bunch of good actors in it. There's good production design, good costuming and all that. But like the writer slash director Greta Gerwig is a complete moron and is quite incompetent as a filmmaker. And the movie is full of like really cringe speeches, and it's really incongruous. Like the whole narrative's just all over the place.
Alrighty, fellas. I'm gonna need to go to bed. I have to go to work tomorrow.
So do I. So
All right.
I will also be leaving.
You have fun out there.
Night, lads.
All right, Tommy.
Good night.
Good night, Tom.
Good night, Jensen. I
Good
guess,
night. I
as
will
well.
talk to you later.
I'm gonna
Alright.
come.
I didn't know
So
you
you-
could piss off ships just by being too close.
Oh my gosh, they're on you.
I regret this maneuver. I can't fight this guy. He's too much of a chud. But anyway, the movie does suck, so I understand the knee-jerk reaction. In fact, my own review of it was pretty scathing.
Well, the movie sucks, but the message behind the movie is accidentally indicative of current cultural norms between the sexes and how bad it is. Is that correct?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
It basically shows by outlining feminism in a positive light and saying this is what you should do, this is how women should be. It shows how horrible feminism is for men.
Yeah. And women. At the end, they're just
Yeah, and women.
they're like, man, this sucks.
Because they try to like they did themselves in by like being like, okay, Barbie's not a real woman, she's not legitimate unless she experiences like a menstrual cycle and stuff. So at the end she chooses to live in the real world and become a human. But they do themselves in because they basically said, hey, going to the gynecologist and having a uterus and stuff and having children, that's
Peak women.
that's what's gonna fulfill Barbie's life and make her a real woman. So it's
Peak
like, oh,
femininity.
you got yourself,
Yeah, I've heard both sides of the Barbie argument. I'm definitely in agreement with you and Michael Knowles and stuff like that. I don't know, like the knee-jerk reaction to just respond to everything as woke garbage when people take away different things from media, and
Right.
a lot of people will take away that feminism is not as good as we thought it was, I think, from the Barbie movie, which is very funny.
Right. And
So can celebrate that.
yeah, right. So my point is like, not only do we need to be making good stuff, but we also need to learn how to take a win
Yeah.
and steal it away from someone when they're being an idiot and they so freely give it. Because I mean, it is working. The Ken memes have been off the charts. The as far as like Barbie, like not Barbie brand, but Barbie movie specific merchandise, all of the Ken stuff sells the best. Like even
That's
if you go
hilarious.
into the women's section, it's like mostly Ken stuff because that's what's selling now. You get T-shirts with Ken on it, and then Kenergy and different quotes in the women's section, because that was because Ryan Gosling is great, and by trying to make a super sexist and stereotypical man, they accidentally made a character who's awesome and cool.
Super
And
relatable.
everybody's rooting for him, and of course it helps that Ryan Gosling is great and was already a big deal and a big meme.
Yeah.
Before the movie even came out.
I think conservatives need to wield more power more freely as well.
Right.
They need to
that's
actually.
one of my biggest problems with the Republican Party. It's just being tepid.
Yeah.
Just not being as
It's like-
forthright.
It's like, I know back in the day, they were a lot more, a little bit more crazy, but now it's like they don't want to do anything.
Yeah. Well, we've gotten to a point where it's no longer about preserving the way things are, because we've gone so far past reason. So they need to pull an Uno reverse card is what we need.
Exactly. Yeah, and if both sides were tepid and didn't want to do anything, then I'd be fine with that, right? But when one side wants to dominate over the other that wants to be left alone, the side that wants to be left alone is going to be consumed. So you have to kind of wield the power in order to enforce neutrality.
Right.
That's just how it works, or else you get pushed around.
No, conservatives definitely need to be more aggressive, especially the politicians who are famous for getting into office and not really doing anything. The liberals are always bailing each other out, always getting away with murder, and the conservatives can barely get away with the most limp-wristed and simplistic legislation. It's lame. It's embarrassing to watch, quite frankly.
Yeah. That's sad. No backbones.
Not
That's
at all.
fine. This is why everyone loves Trump.
Right, because he's aggressive, he's outspoken, he doesn't care what anyone else thinks.
Yeah, gets things
It's
done.
pretty refreshing after all this time to have someone who's not weak or secretly on the other side,
Yeah.
like George Bush.
Oh, definitely not George Bush.
Jr.,
What do you-
specifically. George Bush Jr.
What are you talking about?
Oh, did you see the whole Oscar nomination thing?
No. Is that still going on?
Well, the Oscars haven't happened yet, so we just know who the nominees are. So nobody's won anything.
Oh, okay. Because I thought, wait, was it the Oscars or was it some other movie thing where you had to have a certain amount of minorities to even be put on the electability?
Oh yeah, that's
Electability?
Oscars. That's the Academy.
Right.
But the whole industry has DEI anyway, so it's fine. They do not suffer much. It just means that the really weird indie movies no longer get it. In fact,
Nice.
international movies have been doing very well at the Oscars
Mm-hmm.
because it's not minorities in your country. It's minorities in America, regardless of where you made the movie.
Big brain. That's hilarious.
And so they're they're the only ones whose mainstream is making good movies. And winning all of the Oscars. Like it's always a Korean film or something like that.
Well, I guess that's somewhat of a backfire. for them.
Somewhat. I don't think they really care. Makes them look woke to, pat the backs of the international folk. Say, "Oh, you did a good job." As the benevolent and guilty white people.
So what they do at the Oscars, they just elect or selected somebody.
Oh yeah. So this is funny. So Ryan Gosling got nominated for best. I think it was best supporting actor. It may have just been best actor. Period. I'm not sure. But oh, it was just best actor. No, supporting. Damn you. Yeah. Anyway, he got nominated for best supporting at the Oscars. The song that he does in the movie got nominated for best original song. But no actresses got nominated.
Ooh.
The director did not get nominated for best writer or director.
Dude, Margot Robbie's like really good looking. She should have been on there.
That's true.
Just for the looks alone.
And it's still legit. Like, people can't be mad about it because you just say, oh, we can only have so many nominees and there was all of these great women, so we didn't have room. But it's hilarious because this movie that was intended and is to a certain extent raging feminist garbage
Even with all the DEI.
has had the male patriarch character
Come out on
getting
top,
all the
baby.
nominations.
That is poetic justice right there. Tell you what.
It's hilarious. It's like, yep. Even with all this DEI crap, even with all their politics, the patriarchy still wins. Every time. So, suck it. It's also amazing because all the nominees for Best Original Song typically perform the song like in between different winners being announced, so you have that entertainment aspect, which means that Ryan Gosling is going to have to perform the song live, which is amazing. It's going to be hilarious.
He's going to be performing the song at the Oscars.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's pretty amazing. So that's a big bonus. The song is also unintentionally great. Because it's supposed to be like Ken's warped perception. Because he's like, okay, I've been abused by the Barbie society. I'm, useless here. Although, of course, the movie's point is that men deserve it. And they get the unhappy ending of Ken's getting nothing at the end of the movie, basically. They're given like a participation award, basically. And the other thing is like Barbie like just won't let him into her life for anything, even though they're dating.
Dang.
Like she won't hang out with him at night because it's girls' night, but in Barbie Land every night is girls' night.
Dang.
So he's like in an abusive relationship with Barbie where she just never gives him the time of day. And so she's, the whole plot of the movie is that she's going through this existential crisis. And she's just blocking him out through the whole thing because she's too busy like dealing with this. And she doesn't know who she is, and she doesn't know if she wants to be with him anymore and all this crap. And he's nothing but good to her. And so the song basically details that no matter how hard he tries, he never seems to be respected. And so it's like super relatable to any man who's been a victim of woke or who's dated a feminist.
Yeah.
And
That's awesome.
And, musically, the composer did a good job. So it's like a pretty, like, stirring little anthem, which is hilarious. So it's almost become like this, almost like a fight song, like a war song of old, to stir men up to basically just say, I'm doing my best and I don't need him. Because that's the point of the song. It's called "I'm Just Ken," which is why you'll see that in a lot of comment sections. People, like on feminist posts, people comment just that.
I'm just kidding.
To basically say you're terrible. Because it's okay to be sexist towards men. So if they are,
right,
you'll get that comment.
Go my own way.
And it's great.
It says win 25 gold by playing blackjack, and I've done that twice, and it has not worked.
Oh, I'm hate
confused.
that. I what I did was I teleported to different taverns until I found one that worked.
So it's just glitched?
Mm-hmm. Because you can do it at any tavern, and it will still pop. So you just gotta jump to another tavern. It's terrible.
So weird.
I actually listen to the song before I work out to get pumped up.
Yeah, I need to put this on my playlist.
When I
need that Kenergy.
I did like the Apple Music like year in review thing. It was like 32 plays or something.
Oh my gosh. You're like, yeah, man.
I don't know if I should be proud of that or not, but
this is what I feel every day.
But there you go. Man, I feel beaten down, like me. I don't want to be in politics. I don't give a shit. Like I don't want to be talking about it, worrying about it. I don't want to be I never wanted to do it as a podcast.
Yep.
I just want to be a filmmaker. I want to tell stories, and they have made that so damn hard with all this crap because I'm a straight white male, and that means that I don't get a chance. And that I've I've got to fight for it.
Yeah, men throughout history have done crazy things they did not want to do because no one else would do it. And you have to bear that burden on your shoulders now.
Right.
I'm grateful that it's in a sense where I'm not risking my life yet.
Yet.
But
it may get to that someday.
Yeah. But for right now it's that's what you gotta do. That's what a man's meant to do. Gotta do things.
See, I'll tell you what. I feel it every day when I'm, struggling to apply for jobs because no matter how much cred you have, how much experience, how much training, you're the last person they want.
Yeah.
And
It really seems that way. It's kind of crazy. It's like no merit left. They're just like the weirdest hiring practices.
and I know it every time every time I recognize I'm going to get into an industry in an unconventional way, it's irritating, man. I'm just Ken, all right? Like,
You persevere. You put on your resume. I'm
doing the
Ken.
best. Yeah, I'll
Nice to
put
meet
that.
you.
Someone will see that, a tear will run down their face, and they're like, I understand. I understand.
I understand the plight of this man.
I know what he
He can
means.
run down.
He's just Ken. He's doing his best, and it doesn't matter to anyone.
His 33 plays on Apple Music. He needs this job.
Should be part of my list of accomplishments at the bottom.
I've listened to this so much. So many times. But no. Oh my gosh. What other taverns are there?
There's one on Tortuga, Port Royal, and Padres del Fuego. Actually, I think there's two on Tortuga. There's multiple ones on some island, I don't remember.
Tortuga. I'm on Tortuga. After I get this quest done, I gotta go take a shower. So,
All right. Well, that's all right. We're pretty much done here.
I bathed in leaves for like 3 hours.
Fair enough.
So I'm a little dirty.
I understand.
Where is Silver Tavern?
Gotta keep up your energy.
Oh, yep. Gotta replenish. Dude, every time I take a shower, I feel like a new man. You know? Get like a boost of energy, mood lifts. It's crazy.
I do not.
I don't know why. You don't? You
I'm
don't
the
have that?
opposite because the hot water relaxes your muscles and
Uh-huh.
you learn just how much pain you're in.
Oh, man. It gives you time to just anguish in your thoughts.
So I'm always sore after a shower.
Always sore after a shower, dude? What the
Yeah.
hell? Oh, you got something wrong with you.
No. That's normal.
Maybe you need to take a cold shower.
Maybe. I don't really feel as clean though for some reason when taking a cold shower. I don't
'Cause there's not all that what's it called? Mist or what is it? Where it's like water in the air.
Yeah.
Oh, here's a table. What the heck?
Because I
bid
usually
2
shower
monies.
after I work out, so it's. You feel the.
Dude, what is that when
results of
you?
the
It's like a
grind.
spa thing. There's like
sauna
water in the air.
or
Sauna. What's that vapor called?
Vapor.
Nah.
I mean,
it's not called vapor.
vapor is just water in the air. I don't know what to tell you, buddy.
It's like hot water in the air, and you go like, oh yeah. Know what I mean?
I don't think I've ever gone, oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Like the Kool-Aid man.
No.
Ooh, I got 18. Oh, wait. Oh. I think I know why you have to do different taverns, because it's a different game. Yeah.
Well, they usually have both poker and blackjack in one tavern. Usually.
Oh. Makes sense, makes sense. Ooh, no. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Dude, I'm like getting ganged up on like crazy. It ain't right to treat a woman like that.
Hey, right.
Oh my gosh, not again. Dude. Gotta be kidding me.
Ah! So bad at this game. But yeah, anytime I'm feeling like down in the dumps, you just take a shower.
I'm happy for you.
Oh my gosh, I busted twice in a row, bro.
Yo, you can't bust on stream,
Dude,
bruh.
I'm busting all the time.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
20. Oh, it's just a 1. Oh my gosh. Yeah, baby.
You know what? Screw this. Bye.
I did it.
Oh, phooey.
Return this quest. I'm gonna take a shower. I leave this place.
I'm getting straight up tortured.
That's nice.
Not really. Did you see any comments on that video I made about OnlyFans?
No. Were they defending it? Actually, it's a legitimate business that women need to have.
Yeah, but it was interesting because it wasn't by women, which is usually what happens in those cases. Is I get feminazis in the comments, but it was like
But they're
dudes
men?
who were like defending it, but very nicely. Like they weren't
I bet they
vicious
buy
like my
OnlyFans.
usual comments. But it seemed to, for whatever reason, the subject seemed to attract just like the most degenerate commenters. Or the most openly degenerate commenters I've ever had.
Well, actually,
Like,
it's
I had
a
one-
form of art.
I had one who was like, I'd pay for OnlyFans if it was scratch and sniff.
Okay, that's kind of funny.
Like, find Jesus. Like, what is wrong with you?
Dude, I think that's a joke.
Don't
It's gotta
tell me
be.
that.
That's
No,
kind of
it was like
hilarious.
some old dude. They always write you like a paragraph. You always
Oh,
know
okay.
when it's legit. And there was
That is hilarious.
there was another dude who was not surprising. I see guys like this all the time. He was like, that's just what women do, bro. It's just a big competition.
Just be hoes.
And then you just you save them from that. You take them under your wing and shelter them from that crap. And it's like, no, what? Even when you're in a relationship with women, they'll still be on social media.
I mean, they do have a tendency to do that, but
it's well, yes, women have a tendency, but it's not for competition. Like these fans of yours, you're not like
yeah.
they're not real people. They're not real. Well, they are real people, but you know what I mean. They're not real relationships. They're not dating options. Like they're they're acting like the internet is like an actual reflection of people in the world just talking, and it isn't. Because it's in reality not particularly like being social.
I think women like to show off that they can, get the ire of men to other women. So in that regard, I guess it is competition, but
yeah, well, yeah, they do like to show off, and
so it makes them
brag
validated.
and validate that cred, but I don't think competition is really the right
Probably not.
description.
Yeah, because they're not really competing for
They're not competing for anything
besides their own, like, I guess, ego. Like, who can get the most amount of money and just all of the vices, basically.
Oh my
Who
gosh.
can be the most degenerate?
Right.
The heck.
And it's like, dude, like, you can't fix her, bro. She's for the streets.
Yeah, no.
You can't fix her. That's not how this works. If she has no self-respect and she's cheating on herself, then that doesn't even come close to covering you.
Yeah.
Like, how do you think she's going to treat you?
It's not gonna be good.
No.
Not be good at all.
Because even if no one, if someone, just because someone's never done a bad thing before doesn't mean like there aren't signs, right? Like, you can tell when someone's going to grow up to murder people because they're obsessed with, killing small animals with their bare hands or something as a child.
Yep.
Like, a cheater when you see one. Like, you can identify a hoe. There's no reason. And we live in a time where
there's lots of options.
Where men aren't dating as much, and there are actually statistically more single women than single men, especially in some states. Yeah, Georgia is known for having a significantly bigger woman population.
That is insane.
So, like, just Like you don't need to be desperate. You don't need to date hoes. You don't need to like be making excuses. Like unless you're not really a worthy person yourself. Which I
Yeah.
understand may be the case with these degenerates. Like you don't need to be desperate. And if for some reason you do, then that's like a you problem, and then you shouldn't be dating at all. You should be
So you working on yourself.
working on yourself.
Yeah.
You should stop being a degenerate because no woman wants that at all.
No. They do not find that attractive.
Well,
Desperation
any
is not.
good woman does not want that.
Desperation is bad.
I have to search this barrel, but he's trying to attack me.
You will kill.
Ah!
Blam. Blam. Tab. Alright. Well, I have done my quest. So,
All right.
I
Well,
suppose
ladies
I'll
and
vote.
gentlemen, I think that's all the time we have for today.
Vote today.
If you made it to the end, if you listen to the end, then you can give us a special little comment. What's it going to be tonight? Comment, I'm just Ken.
Yeah,
That's what you
I'm
do.
just Ken.
Comment, I'm just Ken.
Definitely not a migrant slur.
Yeah, don't do that.
That would be terrible.
Just be Ken. That will do.
That'll do, donkey. That'll do.
And remember, if you don't like watching this on YouTube, and you have a particular time that you do podcasts when driving and stuff, then you can go in the description of the YouTube channel, and there are sites where you can listen to this podcast, like Spotify and Apple Music and all that.
Spotify.
And you can get just the good stuff.
Do you download the audio and then upload it to Spotify, or do you do like dual streams?
I rip the audio. Because you
upload
don't.
it.
I mean, there are a few sites where you can live stream it, audio, but it's not like a common thing.
Interesting.
So I just rip it and upload it later, which of course means you don't get it as
Crispy.
immediate
Oh yeah.
or whatever, but it's not like anyone's grasping. Because we get
I
more
need
views like after it's done rather than live. Like no one really watches it live.
Yeah. Makes
So
sense.
it's,
Doesn't really matter.
because I don't either. I have a few people I watch live like every once in a while. Like every once in a while, I will sit in on like an hour of Friday Night Tights or Drinkers Open Bar, but otherwise,
Yeah.
I usually have to be multitasking stuff, and
Yeah, I like getting the whole context of a video, and so when you like jump in and it's like halfway through what they're talking about, I'm like, man, I need to get the full context. This
Right.
is-
it's a little.
I don't understand what's
It's a
going
little
on.
weird.
Yeah.
Like I've jumped into Friday Night Tights a few times just to see them hysterically laughing for like 3 minutes straight.
and you're just like, what did I miss?
just completely
happening?
fail to move on in a timely fashion. And you're like, what? Or I hate it when you see the title and they've already either
Oh,
talked
no.
about the one thing you were interested in hearing, or they're taking forever to get to it.
Yeah. You're just like, I'll just come back later, and then
Right.
listen to it.
So I
Makes more sense that
understand
way.
not everyone wants to dedicate their Wednesday night to
Listening
watching
to a bunch of dudes.
this on time.
Yeah. I think it takes a certain type of person to like watch live streams a lot. I don't know who that would be, but
I don't know who I don't know those people, but they sure
people do exist.
there sure is a lot of them. But
Yeah.
I do not know any personally, so I don't know
It's a bit odd to
what
me.
the draw is. I think it's personality. Like, I think one of our problems is like you don't see faces or anything. You don't.
Yeah.
Like when my videos kick off, I think this will get more views because I mean my videos do well, but like when they're, monetized and all that,
Mm-hmm.
then
They get put in the algorithms.
yeah, people will
Better.
be more interested in seeing what I have to say in other areas because I don't make videos about politics.
Yeah.
So you kind of have
That's
to
why
be,
we have this stream.
you have to be interested in me as a person, which nobody knows yet. Nobody knows any of us, or
Nobody knows.
what our deal is.
They'll never know until it's too late. And then we come hunting
Till
for them.
it's too late.
We'll find
And
them.
then we can find where they live.
Like, hi, how are you?
We'll find
You want an autograph?
Yeah, we'll just solicit other people for autographs.
You
But
come up to
just
them
like-
with the pen and paper.
Yeah, just like a reverse Comic-Con, going out in the wild and
Yeah.
trying to push autographs on people.
Like, you want my autograph? You're like, wait, what? You want my autograph? No.
I'll give
want
you
my
money if you take my autograph.
You pay them to
Yeah,
receive your autograph.
it's really
Oh my
reverse.
gosh. See, we need these skits. They're piling up. We need to put them in a folder somewhere.
I know, but it's
produce
it's
them.
ridiculous. You would have to go back through like every episode. I mean, this is 34.
Yeah. I'm telling you, man, we've crafted some good ideas, but yeah, they're in there. I don't remember any of them. Oh my gosh. All right, well,
Well, yeah.
I'm gonna head out. I'm gonna go take a shower.
I'm just Ken. You're just
So.
Ken. We're all Ken.
We're all Ken.
Keep
Good
up
night,
the
farewell,
Kenergy boys.
good sir. I will see you later.
Yep.
Bye.
Man. He tapped out on stream. That was awkward. Oh, yeah, like I care. Frickin' Romany Bev. What is all this?